Welcome into the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, here every Monday through Friday, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. We do this, as I say, every day at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, the only standard time that I adhere to. Central Standard Time, noon. 3 years we've been doing this every day, Monday through Friday. Coughing. Had to clear my throat. I apologize. 3 years we've been doing this every single day. Talk radio for normal Americans. That's how I like to frame it. Why? Because I think that there's a lot of abnormal Americans out there and a lot of weirdos. We got 15% on the right, totally gone forever. 15% on the left, gone forever. That's 30% of our fellow citizens that we just can't do business with them. It leaves 70% of us. This talk show is designed for that 70%. You're not completely crazy right. You're not completely crazy left. You're like the rest of us. You're just in the middle. You take your issues as they come. You're like, well, based upon how I've lived my life and my life experience and my moral foundation, this is how I feel about this issue. And then you get another issue and you're like, well, but on this one, I believe. That's how most people are. This idea that we all have to be beholden to a party, or we all have to think in like the same like group think. No, we're all just people, man, trying to be cool to one another. Hopefully that's what you do. Hopefully you wake up every morning and you're like, let's just be cool today. Let's not be a dick. Let's not be unnecessarily angry. Although I woke up this morning pretty angry because it's cold here in North Texas. Conversation. It's a conversation about current events and about life, our lifestyle. It's lifestyle talk. I don't call it that because we don't do lifestyle talk anymore on radio. So I have to hide it with current events. But if you listen to this show, and many of you have for 3 years, you know that honestly, this is just a narcissistic therapy session for me where I come and I just rant about the day and talk about my kid. That's it. That's what we do. How does the show unfold? Well, over the course of the next 2 hours, minimum, at least, I give you at least 2 hours. Over the next 2 hours, I'm going to attempt to bring to you everything that I think is interesting about this day. We do it in a stream of consciousness presentation. That's just me. I don't have anybody else to talk to other than you in the chat room. From time to time, I'll stop and talk to you. But for the most part, it's just a stream of consciousness. Whatever the next thought is in my head, I say it. Now, in order to keep the show from, going into the weeds at every turn, because a stream of consciousness does lend to that kind of behavior, I've created 4 segments. In my head, I always know where we're going to next. 4 segments, 4 quarters of the show. The first one, we call it Antecedently on This Day. It's a fancy way of saying this day in history. I go through a couple of things that have occurred on this day, and we just riff on them. Quarter 2 is birthdays. You know what that is. People who have birthdays. Quarter 3 is deads. People who died on this day. I like that. Dead on this day. And then we decide, where did they go? Heaven? Or did they burning? Coughing again. It's this weather. I'm not sick or anything. It's just this weather. I'm all Quarter 3 is deads. We decide they go to heaven or hell. Quarter 4 is hot topics, current events, and everything else that's happening in life. Happy Friday. Friday around here, we're going to talk about, we've got all the current. Look, folks, let me just start out. Let me start the show off right here. Let me look to you, the streamer, directly when I say this. I love you guys. I do. I love you guys. I love you guys. All right, now I have to say that because I'm going to get into some stuff today that a lot of you are going to be like, fuck that guy. All right? Had an epiphany last night. And you're not going to like it. Here are the people who I think might be offended. Okay. Here's who's going to be offended by the things I'm about to say when we get into quarter 4. Hockey fans in general. If you're a hockey fan, you're going to be really offended by the rant that I'm about to go on about that stupid hockey game last night. Yeah, there you go. There's a little foreshadowing. Stupid hockey game, he said. So we'll get into that. We're going to talk about the post office. Apparently the post office is going to go away. Yeah, I don't know. We got more sports stuff. Well, we're gonna do a bunch of sports stuff. We got more sports robberies. Hear about this? Athletes have been getting robbed left and right. We're gonna talk about that. There's another one of those stories in the news. What else do we have? New show alert. We're gonna talk about a new show on Netflix this weekend. You can check out. What else do we have? We got a bunch of stuff. So why don't we not delay? Let's say hi to the chat room. Hi, Jen. Jen's in the chat room. She says, happy Friday. Jeff Ballard's in the chat room. Barney's in the chat room. Al's in the chat room. Taranda's in the chat room. Peter's in the chat room. Adam's in the chat room. And that's all the names I can see. So now I got to go all the way back to the beginning. We're going to give KB a shout out. Hi, Kevin. Welcome. And first, the winner of the chat room race is Byron today. Byron's the first guy that I saw. Byron is first in. I don't know what's going on with you, Taranda. Taranda's almost always first in. Kind of what she's known for. Adam says, I'm glad Canada won. He says, I'm glad Canada won, especially after the team tried to dedicate a win to Trump. All right. Yeah, see, that stupid hockey game got all stupid political. And you know how I feel about stupid political shit. Yeah, it's like, I can't just be a hockey team. I can't just be rooting for a set of colors on a sweater. It's got to be something else. All right, we'll get into all that. What else do I need to say? It is a Friday. We're very excited because it's a boys' weekend Friday. That means my kid's coming. The kid and I will be hanging out this weekend. It's going to be a cold weekend. Although Tuesday, it's going to be 80. So, life in North Texas. What do we got? Here's something that I was thinking about. So here's how the drill works. Tonight, I'll drive up to my kid's house, and I'll pull in front of his house, and he'll come out, and he'll get in, and we'll start our weekend. Huzzah! But lately, because he's a teenager, every time he gets into the car, look, I take this as a good thing. This is a good sign. Every time he gets in the car, he's in a mood. You know what I mean? He's 15 years old. He's always in a mood. It's never, hi, Daddy, what are we going to do? What kind of hijinks will we be involved in this week? It's never like that. It's always like, well, it's cold. What's for dinner? I want Taco Bell. It's always like that. It's like he brings the bad energy. And again, now I say I think that's good. I think that's good because I think if your kid takes you for granted, like if your kid is just like not impressed to see you and it's just like, but you otherwise have like a good loving relationship, I think that's good. I was thinking about it. I said it to him the last time I picked him up 2 weeks ago. I said, you're going to bring this shit mood right from the start, right? Maybe I didn't help the situation. Maybe Dad overreacted. It was like, you're going to bring this shit mood right from the start. And then we bicker for 20 minutes back and forth in the car until I shove his face full of Taco Bell, and then he gets full and falls asleep. And that's our Friday night. So I'm going to try and bring positive energy. I'm going to greet him as he gets into the car with big positive energy tonight. And we'll see if he meets the positive energy with like-minded energy, or if he brings that bullshit 15-year-old angst into my car. Angst over shit like Zach Martin retiring. Seriously, this is like what's got you all spun up. He's upset. He's upset Zach Martin, his favorite football player of all time, is retiring. We'll talk more about that. He's very upset. Without squandered his whole career. If you ask my 15-year-old. 15-year, he should have gone in free agency 4 years ago. Maybe he'd have a title. Maybe somebody would have appreciated the stellar play of a Zach Martin. All right, that's another big story we'll get into. So it's kids' weekend, so we're very excited. Don't know what we're going to do. Have no plans. It's cold. He's going to use that as an excuse to get out of snapping practice. Although, if he's a winner, we'll be out there in 30-degree temperatures doing snaps this weekend. He's a long snapper on his football team, and we're just trying to get him perfect, right? I mean, he's very good right now. We're trying to get him absolutely perfect, like collegiate level perfect at long snapping. He's got to try and make varsity next year. He's got to bring a specific tool to his bag of offerings. Hi, Frankie. Frank's in the chat room. Let's see here. Adam's got takes on hockey, so we're gonna get into that. But why don't we start? Let's just start the show. Let's get rolling. Here it is. The Rant. I am Pugs Moran. The Kelly Moore Memorial Studios is where we do this in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's Design District. Did you know it's the 21st day of February, year of our Lord 2025? It's the 52nd day of the year. That means 313 remain until the end of the year. So get those New Year's Eve plans started. All right, quarter one. Antecedently on this day, these are events that have helped shape our understanding of what this day, February the 21st, has represented throughout time in memoriam, as Tony Soprano might say. Antecedently on this day in the year 1797, a force of 1,400 French soldiers invaded Britain at Fishguard Why? In support of the Society of United Irishmen, they were defeated by 500 British reservists. But still, another example of the French and why I am always appreciative of the French and their efforts historically for my people, both in Ireland and both in the United States. Now, I understand it's the old war philosophy of your enemy's enemy is your friend, but so what? If France hated Britain, Britain was crapping all over America. France helped. They legitimized us. Ireland was getting shit on by the Brits. So, of course, France helped. It was on this day they first offered their assistance to a free Irish people. 1797. On this day in 1848, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels published the Communist Manifesto. Communist Manifesto on this day in 1848. On this day in 18... It's like the world's second most read book. The Bible is number one, and then the Communist Manifesto is number two. Anyway, 1848, Communist Manifesto published. On this day in 1885, the newly completed Washington Monument, I could say it, Washington Monument. Newly erected, perfect word, Washington Monument is built. We'll say built. It's easier for me. Have you ever seen the Washington Monument? You guys ever been there? Not impressed. Not impressed. I'm sorry. I'm just not impressed with this late 1800s to mid 1900s architecture monument stuff. I'm not impressed with the arch in St. Louis. That thing's lame. That thing's like just stupid. The Washington Monument, I mean, it's an obelisk. It's like just a giant, okay. Not impressed. You know what I'm impressed by? You know who's got a cool monument? Lincoln. Lincoln's got a cool monument because you can look at him. He's there. The Washington Monument is just an obelisk. Anyway, moving on. It was on this day. 1885, the newly completed Washington Monument is dedicated. On this day in 1948, NASCAR becomes a thing. Yeehaw! On this day in 1975, the Watergate scandal, former United States Attorney General John N. Mitchell and former White House aide H.R. Haldeman and John Ehrlichman are sentenced to prison. Watergate went to prison on this day in 1975. On this day in 1994, Aldrich Ames is arrested by the FBI for selling national secrets to the Soviet Union. Do you remember the Aldrich Ames spy trial? It was a big spy trial, big spy situation back in the 90s. Don't know any of the details. Not a one. Don't have any clue. Although I do think in the television show The Americans, you ever seen the television show The Americans? I think Aldrich Ames is a character. I think they made him a character. Not sure. I got to rewatch The Americans. But anyway, there you go. On this day, antecedently, in the books for this day, the 21st day of February, 2005. Let's do birthdays, quarter two. People saying it's their birthday today. Let's go through some of these people. Born on this day, we're going to start out with Rue McClanahan. Rue McClanahan, American actress. She died in 2010. She was born on this day in 1934. I normally wouldn't, I don't know, but she's a Golden Girl. So apparently millennials think she's Meryl Streep. So there we go. Rue McClanahan. She did one thing in her entire career. She was on the Golden Girls for like 6 years, and now she's an icon. Stop it with your Golden Girl. All right, moving on. I'm not a believer in the Golden Girls. I don't understand how that show has stood the test of time. I don't get it. Well, actually, I do get it. I understand why. It's because of sentimental attachment to it. The entire millennial generation. That show was on Saturday nights at like 8 o'clock. That was the night the millennial children were sent to grandma's house because mom and dad wanted to go bar hopping. So a bunch of millennial kids were watching TV with grandma on Saturday night, and they all now have a sentimental attachment to Golden Girls in 2025. That's what happened. Oh, Golden Girls. That show sucked. It was stupid. All right. Born on this day in 1934, Rue McClanahan, one of the Golden Girls. Never saw an episode, so how can I be so sure it sucked? I can't. I feel like it sucks. Born on this day, sorry, not antecedently. Born on this day in 1934, David Geffen. David Geffen, record company guy, big important guy, going all the way back to the 1960s, management, record company, became a billionaire. Now he's like super powerful. David Geffen. of Geffen Records. Born on this day in 1943. Born on this day in 1946, Tyne Daly. Tyne Daly. You remember her from, she's like, okay, we remember Rue McClanahan because she was a Golden Girl, but nobody remembers Tyne Daly because she was Cagney. Or was she Lacey? Oh, man. All right, so here's the problem. There was a show in the 1980s that was supposed to be a very progressive-minded show. It had two women, and they were police detectives, and they were forced to work together. They didn't like each other, these two. No, they didn't. They were very different women. One was named Cagney, and one was named Lacey. And I think, like, it should be, the one named Cagney was like, nah! That, like, basically, Tyne Daly was kind of the lesbian. She was like not attractive. She was not unattractive. I'm not saying she was unattractive. What I'm saying is that her character was not like sexy lady. But then the other chick, Sharon Gless, I believe that was her name. I think she played Lacey, and she was hot because Lacey. Or was it the other way around? We'll never know. We'll never know. Born on this day in 1946, Tyne Daly. The only thing I know is that she played the lesbian-looking one with the short haircut. That's why I say she's a lesbian-looking one, because in 1982, women with short hair, all I'm saying, Martina Navratilova, Billie Jean King, short hair was a thing with a certain kind of women that we didn't, speak about publicly. Then Demi Moore got her hair cut in Ghost, and we're like, hot chicks can do that too? We were all okay with girls with short hair. All right, moving on. Tyne Daly, 1946. Born on this day in 1946 as well, same as Tyne Daly. Anthony Daniels, he's... Okay, I'm going to try and do this. I'm of the Star Wars generation, but I always screw up on this like an old man. Like an old man trying to pronounce Timothée Chalamet's name. Is it I don't know. I think it's C3PO, right? C3PO. It's not 3CPO, which I don't know. I don't know which one it is. I don't know. I liked girls. As soon as I started liking girls, I stopped being obsessed with Star Wars. So even though I am of the original 3 generation Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, original 3, saw them all in theaters, was obsessed. Even though I'm that, I didn't really, I don't know, after like 14, I was like, they made 3 movies in like 8 years. And then I grew up, and then they didn't make any more Star Wars movies till I was like 30. And I'm sorry, I was married. I was like, I'm not going to wait in line for the new Star Wars, you dorks. Anyway, is it 3CPO or C3PO? I don't know. Anthony Daniels, born on this day in 1946. He played that robot. That sucks, being that guy, super famous, big movie. Nobody knows what you look like. Born on this day in 1946 as well. Wow, look at this. 3 in 1946, umbilical triplets. Tyne Daly, Anthony Daniels, and the great Alan Rickman. English actor, director. He died in 2016, and that sucks because Alan Rickman is awesome. Born on this day in 1949, Jerry Harrison. American singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer, member of the Talking Heads, member of the Tom Tom Club, Jerry Harrison. Born on this day in 1949. Born on this day in 1953. Here's another SNL cast member that I did not see in attendance at the SNL 50 because, all right, so there's a story behind this one. So born on this day in 1953, Christine Ebersol. Christine Ebersol, ladies and gentlemen. Christine Ebersol was a member of Saturday Night Live for one season. She was an attractive actress. She's done a bunch of stuff. She's a good actress. You've seen her in shit like over the years. You've been like, but did you know she was on like one season of Saturday Night Live? She's also the little sister of Dick Ebersol. She was like a total like Nepo. Anyway, she wasn't there. Nobody really wants to remember the year that Lorne wasn't there and Dick Ebersol was the executive producer of Saturday Night Live. Although I did see, I think Terry Sweeney was in that cast. I saw Terry Sweeney at the SNL 50, but not Christine Ebersol. Although if I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't recognize her because I haven't seen her in 40 years. Christine Ebersol, born on this day in 1953. Born on this day also in 1953. Here's another cool guy. I love William Peterson. William Peterson is cool. What was he? CSI Vegas? right? William Peterson, CSI Vegas, and then Caruso was CSI Miami, like in the early days of the CSI thing, when those were like new shows. Now they're shows that have been on for 20 years, but there was a time when they were new shows. I think William Peterson started the whole thing. William Peterson, To Live and Die in LA. William Peterson is awesome. I love William Peterson. Cool ass actor. Born on this day in 1953. Born on this day in 1955, Kelsey Grammer. I got nothing on Kelsey Grammer. Look, I love Cheers. I think Cheers is one of the best written shows in the history of television. And Kelsey Grammer's character on Cheers was really funny because he was the counterbalance to the salt of the earth working man, kind of conversations you'd have at the bar. Frasier was very smart. Cliff thought he was smart. Norm was just a normal guy who's probably just as bright as you or I. Frasier added sort of this nice, cool imbalance. It was terrific. Then they gave him his own show, and it was like lame. But everybody who loved Cheers felt like they had to be like, I love Frasier too. Those shows aren't alike at all. There is a blue-collar, working-class, everyman sensibility about Cheers. That's what connected with everybody. That's why Cheers is so important. Frasier was just about elitists. It was just about snobs. And yeah, you had Dad. Dad was the counterbalance. Dad played the role that Frasier played on Cheers. He's the counterbalance to the otherwise overwhelming vibe of snobbery, which occurred on that show. He liked hot chicks, right? Kelsey Grammer, no matter how old he is, he's always got a hot chick. He's very James Woods in that way, and I can't fault him for that. Happy birthday, Kelsey Grammer. Does Kelsey Grammer have Lewy body disease, or did he just have Lewy body disease in a movie I watched once? Is Kelsey Grammer healthy? I hope so. Kelsey Grammer. Do a little cocaine, Kelsey. He was a big cokehead back in the day. Loved it. Like back in the 90s. He loved cocaine. Born on this day in 1955, Kelsey Grammer. Born on this day in 1958. I don't know if this guy loved cocaine, but I love this guy. I love this guy like I love cocaine. He's one of them that guy actors. Every now and again, I like to point a guy out. You don't know his name, but you certainly do know him. Happy birthday. Born on this day, the great Kim Coates, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know Kim Coates? Look at him. Maybe you remember him as Tig from Sons of Anarchy. This guy. Maybe you remember him from Peaky Blinders. He's awesome, Kim Coates. He is good and scary and creepy and awesome in everything he does. And it's his birthday today, the great Kim Coates, celebrating a birthday, born on this day in 1958. Born on this day in 1963, Billy Baldwin. Who cares? Born on this day in 1963, Ranking Roger. Ranking Roger was cool. He was the singer in The Jam, and then General Public. Tenderness. I love Ranking Roger. Born on this day in 1963. Born on this day in 79, two people. We got umbilical cousins here. Born on this day in 79, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Jordan Peele. Jennifer Love Hewitt first. Let's do her. She was in that show Party of Five. She was famous for 10 years. Nobody has seen her since. I think she died of COVID. Let's just say that. Jennifer Love Hewitt, sadly, died of COVID. Jordan Peele, on the other hand, he is, it's got to be tough being the other guy, right? And, how tough is that? I couldn't even immediately drum up the name of the other guy. Michael Keegan face. I don't know what that dude's name is. I know Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele is like one of the most respected directors in Hollywood. Of course, Key and Peele, sketch comedy show that was on Comedy Central. Both of them came together to create the sketch comedy show after they had both been rejected by Saturday Night Live. Yeah, they weren't good enough for Saturday Night Live. Comedy Central had a bit of a cottage industry in taking people that Lorne Michaels didn't like for Saturday Night Live and giving them their own show. Dave Chappelle, Key and Peele, Amy Schumer, those were all people who, after they were rejected by Saturday Night Live, got their shows on Comedy Central. All right, happy birthday. There you go, Jordan Peele, born on this day in 79. Born on this day in 87. No. I don't know how to do this. We got to do... am I just causing more problems by being a middle-aged, outraged man? Because I'm sorry, but Elliot Page was not born on this day in 1987. Ellen Page was born on this day in 19... I don't know. Elliot Page is new. You got to... Come on, that'd be fun for you people. And I'm talking to my trans friends. It'd be fun for you people. Just have a second birthday. Like, you don't have to see. So maybe you always thought your birthday was in a bad spot, right? Maybe your actual birthday is like December 24th, and you're like, it sucks having a birthday on Christmas Eve. So go with the new name day. Go whatever name. There you go. Anyway, Elliot Page, Juno, little girl from Juno, is now a young man named Elliot Page. Good for him. Look at me being respectful. Good for him. See? Antecedently, nope, birthdays. Sorry. I don't know why I just said antecedently again. Here's another birthday for you. Born on this day in 1991, a gentleman whose name I'd heard only in connection with Taylor Swift. A gentleman whose name I'd heard for years, no idea who he was or what he did. Wouldn't have been able to. If I bumped into him at the corner store, I wouldn't know who he was. Then I saw The Brutalist. And if you remember my review yesterday of The Brutalist, Oscar-nominated film starring Adrian Brody, it sucks. It sucks. Don't waste your time. It is so boring. Nothing happens. You keep, enough happens every 45 minutes that you think something big is about to happen, and then nothing happens. Nothing. Did he build the monument? Did the thing ever get built? Nothing happens. And then, in the middle of it all, there is a highly unnecessary anal rape, between dudes, which comes out of nowhere. And stupid. Brutalist sucks. Anyway, this dude whose birthday it is, he's in The Brutalist, and it's the first time I've ever seen him. And now I've seen him in a film, and I'm very much like, meh. He wasn't great. Meh is what I say to this guy having a birthday, born on this day in 1991, former Taylor Swift boyfriend, and I believe the muse for any number of hit songs, Joe Alwyn. Joe Alwyn. Yeah, I think he's one of the dudes that she wrote breakup songs about, and now he's like an actor. Anyway, whatever. Happy birthday, Joe Alwyn. Brutalist sucks, but pretty cool that you were with prime Taylor Swift. And by prime Taylor Swift, I mean 24, right? When she was 24, 25-year-old prime Taylor Swift. Good for him, Joe. Born on this day in 1996. Here's one of my favorites. I think she's just so beautiful. I look at her and I go, oh my God, that's what angels look like. Born on this day in 1996, Sophie Turner. Another Taylor Swift friend. Sophie Turner is, of course, Game of Thrones. Sansa Stark. Queen in the North. Sansa. I loved Sansa. Sansa I had a real problem with. If you watched Game of Thrones, Sansa was kind of a bitch. But if you listen to the show, you also know Pugs digs bitches. Pugs likes when a chick is a bitch. Not bitching mean. I don't like a girl who's mean to other people. I like a girl whose just general vibe is, don't fucking talk to me. You're not worthy of talking to me. I dig that. That's a term. Sansa had that. Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones had that. Beautiful. Wasn't she married to a Jonas for a couple of weeks? And then they're like, yeah, let's not be married anymore. Anyway, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1996, Sansa Stark. Her real name, what happened to the camera? Her real name is Sophie Turner. Guys, the camera just went out. That's weird. Okay. Hey. All right, I think we got it now. Are we good? All right. I think we got it now. We're good. We're good. We're back. I don't know. It was weird. Just all of a sudden the camera went out. No idea what that was about. All right. Let's do the deads. Let's move on to the deads. Here we go. Hold on. Did the whole show drop out, or was it just the camera? On my end, I just saw that the camera had been out. Don't even know for how long. All right, let's do some deads. These are people who died on this day. We're going to decide based on our understanding of who they were, their life's resume, if you will. We're going to decide where they go, heaven or hell. Let's see. All right, dead on this day. Oh, I can't. I'm not allowed. I can't do this one. I can't. How am I? I'm a white guy. A white guy cannot decide whether Malcolm X went to heaven or hell. I just can't. I'm not allowed. I don't care who won the election in November. I'm still uncomfortable speaking, about what I understand to be the truth regarding Malcolm X, who is very important to a lot of people. I understand that. But in the first 40 minutes of the movie, Malcolm X, he doesn't seem like a guy that's going to heaven. He doesn't. So you know what? I'm gonna puss out on this one. I'm a middle-aged white man. I'm not gonna decide where Malcolm X went. All right, that's for you folks. Dead on this day in 2018. Here's one I can decide. I'm a middle-aged white man. I can decide whether or not Billy Graham died on this day in 2018. Where did Billy Graham go? Heaven or hell? Well, now, see, I have a very complicated kind of, I do not think of Billy Graham in the way that I think of the modern day televangelist mega preacher. I certainly do not think of Billy Graham in the way that I think of Franklin Graham, right? They are two very different people. I really believe that Billy Graham was a spiritual and faithful man. I really believe that Billy Graham existed. I mean, I know he died a very wealthy man and he accumulated great influence in life and all that stuff. But it doesn't seem like Billy Graham specifically went into that line of work to become a millionaire mega preacher, the way a Joel Osteen seems to have done. The way other people that I could name, and I won't, because, people have their faith, and faith is something that gets you through, and I don't begrudge any man whatever crutch you need to get through. And I certainly hope you weren't offended by my use of the word crutch there. I just mean that as a euphemism for something that we all rely on when life gets hard. So please, your faith is fine. I just think of some of these people, many of these televangelists, when they climb into their Mercedes Benzes after their services and drive to their 15,000 square foot home out there in South Lake. Yeah, I wonder, I was raised around priests who lived in fucked up apartments above chapels, I'm Catholic. That seems like there's a little bit more of a dedication to the whole thing than, but Billy Graham's going to heaven. I'm going to put Billy Graham in heaven, because I truly think that Billy Graham was a good man. I don't think that he was sus, as the kids say, the way I see a lot of these other people. So there you go. Billy Graham, I'm going to put him in heaven. Dead on this day in 2019, Stanley Donen. Stanley Donen. This is an interesting guy. He's a filmmaker. I like to talk about my filmmakers. Stanley, here's the fascinating thing about Stanley Donen. Stanley Donen made a movie that you might remember in the 1980s, early 1980s. It is widely considered the film that broke Demi Moore's career. Demi Moore was doing General Hospital, and then Stanley Donen cast her in this movie opposite Michael Caine and somebody else called Blame It on Rio. I think Elizabeth Shue was in it too. It was about two middle-aged fathers who take their smoking hot daughters down to Rio for a vacation. And of course, one of the fathers hooks up with the hot daughter of the other guy, and hilarity ensues. Blame It on Rio, 1980s. That's what I remember. Stanley Donen made that movie. Stanley, this is how big this guy's career was in Hollywood. Stanley Donen was the director and writer of Blame It on Rio in the 1980s with Demi Moore, the movie that broke Demi Moore. Stanley Donen also directed Singin' in the Rain. What? Singing in the Rain, and then 80s sex comedy. 80s edgy sex comedy. Blame It on Rio. That's interesting. Stanley Donen, you're a film producer back in the days when film producers were the worst people on earth. So you're going to hell. But it is interesting that the same dude who did Singing in the Rain, also did an 80s sex comedy starring Demi Moore. Stanley Donen, dead on this day in 2019. Also dead on this day in 2019. I'm going to put him in heaven because I'm a fan of the Monkees, and we talked about him last week. Peter Tork. Hey, he's a monkey. Monkeys, dead Monkeys. Mickey Dolenz, he's the only one alive, right? Mickey Dolenz, that's it. All right, there you go. Those are your deads, folks. That's everything that you need to know about the people who died on this day and where'd they go. Now it's time for us to get into all the hot topics, current events, and all the things that are happening in the world today. I'm going to delve a little bit into the local scene. We've got some cool stories here from North Texas. I want to do more talk radio that centers on stuff that's happening around here. And to that end, I've decided to create a new bit. Yeah, I'm going to start doing bits here. A new bit, if you remember the old show, I don't know when some incarnation of many of the old shows that I've done around here. You may remember my friend JD Fry. Oh God, I love JD. He is just so funny. I got to find the right vehicle for him. I would just love to work with him again. He is just so funny. He kills me. Anyway, JD Fry, when he was producing the Pugs and Kelly show, we crowned him the King of Arlington. The King of Arlington, because he knew everything about Arlington and he could represent Arlington as well as anybody. So going through all the local stories as I have been in the last couple of weeks here, I've noticed that Arlington is quite prominent in all the hijinks that happen here in North Texas. So I've created a new bit called The King of Arlington. So every day, not every day, but whenever it's appropriate, we'll have this segment in honor of JD Fry, the King of Arlington. And today we've got a doozy. Here's what Arlington is, okay? If you just take North Texas and all the news that comes out of North Texas, where you're talking Denton or Oak Cliff or Waxahachie or, wherever, Fort Worth, Dallas, you take all the stories, Arlington is the Florida of North Texas. It really is. Arlington is the Florida of North Texas. I said it first. It's every crazy, weird, stupid, bizarre, why did he do that story from North Texas comes from Arlington. Dateline, Arlington, an idiot did another idiotic thing. So King of Arlington, we'll do that today. Fortunately, the King of Arlington we'll be talking about today was just sentenced to 20 years in prison, so he will be deposed at the start of his reign, but we'll see. What else do we need to talk about? Oh yeah, got to do this. We got to do this. The show itself, of course, you know that. The show runs on your tips and your gratuities. Haven't received many this week, so help out if you can. We have no executive producer. The big tipper of today's show will be Monday's executive producer. No tips yesterday, no executive producer today. So if you want to help support this kind of talk radio, the kind of talk radio that's, just hanging out talk, conversational. We're not really looking to make you feel bad because of how you voted or because of how you think. No, just community talk radio. If you support that, you can drop a little something there. The Venmo or the Cash App sure would be appreciated. All right, let's get started. Here we go. I'm going to open up talking about the hockey, okay? Because that's what we all did last night. We all watched hockey. Four Nations hockey. Four Nations. This is it was the inaugural tournament. This was, as I understand it, and I don't understand much about hockey or the NHL, but as I understand it, this was a new way of doing the All-Star break. The players need a break in the middle of the season. I don't know why they need a break in the middle of the season, but they do. They play a child's game. Kids' youth league hockey, they play year-round. And there's not like an all-star break where, so whatever, but okay. So they take some time off, and they've created, because nobody gives a shit about all-star hockey. Nobody gives a shit about all-star anything because the all-stars don't give a shit about it. So why should we? So they decided instead to have this Four Nations tournament. The nations of Sweden, Finland, Canada, and America, all represented with NHL players playing in this 4-team tournament. Russia is, of course, not allowed to participate in the Four Nations because Russia and all of Russia's sports teams have been banished from all international competition. And the reason why, I don't know why. I don't think they did anything wrong. Because I think that I don't understand why Russia is banned from all international competition when everybody knows Ukraine invaded Russia. Everybody knows who the aggressor there was. Anyway, so it's those 4 countries. Sweden and Finland, who you would think would be pretty good at, frozen stuff, they're not. They weren't in it. So the final game happened last night in Boston's TD Garden between the United States and Canada. There was a game last week, where, remember, it was in Canada, I believe it was Montreal. The American national anthem is played, and all the people in Canada booed. Boo, boo, right? Why are they booing? They don't hate America. Canadians don't hate us. We don't hate Canadians. Well, some of us do. I have no idea why, but apparently we do now. We hate our little brother. So they don't hate. It's not about them hating us. It's about the current political climate and all the stuff that's going on. And we got a president who's teasing Canadians about being the 51st state. And I use the word teasing because I'm trying not to be inflammatory, but it is kind of dickish the way he's going about it. So of course the people in Canada are like, you know what? Fuck you, you arrogant piece of shit. I get that. I get it. So the big concern was Friday in Boston, man. As soon as they sing "Oh Canada," we're all gonna boo. Nobody booed. Nobody booed. People behave themselves. If you totally expect everyone to do something, they ain't gonna fucking do it. That's just how the world is. So they didn't boo. So it was very nice. And there was a whole, but because it's Massachusetts, you know how many people from Canada are in that area? So the stadium was already like half Canada, half America. They booed in the beginning, but then the Canadian people started singing, "Oh, and that drowned out the boos, so it didn't seem like boos. So that was all for nothing. So the whole what's going to happen during the anthem was nothing. Then, the last time they played last week, within the first 9 seconds of play, there were 3 big fights before the opening face-off. Gloves were dropped, skating in circles, throwing punches. It was awesome! We wanted that. We're like, we want fighting. We want booing of anthems. We want all of this. Caesar promised us circuses. This is the circus we were promised. There were no fights. They didn't fight. They played hockey. They're like, guess what? We decided that we were just going to come out and we were going to play hockey. Nobody wants you to play hockey. Have you seen the ratings for the NHL? Nobody fucking wants to watch hockey, people. Okay? We want to see fights. We want to see this political international thing play out on skates. We want a bunch of meatheads throwing fists at each other. That's how we're going to settle wars from now on, with hockey games. Anyway, none of that happened. It was a hockey game. And I guess I'm hearing from people, because I watched a lot of the post-game stuff. I'm hearing from people, it was one heck of a hockey game. I wouldn't know. There was like 4 goals. It took like 3 hours. There was like 4 things that happened. And then the game ended, and they're like, well, not enough stuff happened. So now we got to play again until something happens. And then we got the 5th goal. Hockey. Let me also say this about hockey. And by the way, I'll talk about the game itself. Let me also say this about hockey players, okay? You're not that good at it. Hockey players are not good at hockey. I'm sorry, they're better than me, and they're better than you, and they're probably the best that we have, but nobody is good at hockey, because hockey doesn't depend on skill, really, other than you can figure skate. You're just a big goony figure skater. That's all you do. That's the only skill involved. Don't tell me about stick handling and passing and shooting. That's all chaos. Hockey is just chaos. It's a big, thick piece of rubber skitching across an ice and pond. You don't have anything to do with it. Pugs, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, these guys are the high. Yeah, they're the best we have at doing that. But nobody's going to get really good at doing that ever, because it's completely dependent on things that are outside of human control. It's ice and rubber, and you're chasing it, and you were like, hey, here's how hockey started. This is probably not how it started, but this is how I think it started, okay? Hockey probably started because a bunch of British troops were stranded in Ontario over the winter. And they're like, we want to play hockey, or we want to play soccer. Well, they didn't call it soccer. They probably called it football. We want to play football, but everything was frozen. So they just hockey. So hockey became a thing just because that climate demanded that you couldn't play soccer that way. And also, while we're talking about it, hockey, soccer, and basketball are all the same sport. They're the same sport, just with little different changes in them, but the goals are the same. Hockey is just, for some stupid reason, played on ice where you need this other skill. You need to be a figure skater. Polo. What is polo? Polo is hockey on horses. They made it even harder for super rich people. You know what I want? I want porpoise hockey. I want dolphins. I want to ride dolphins. We'll do it in Miami. We'll have leagues. They'll ride dolphins. No. My point is this. Hockey players, even at their best, aren't that good. I'm watching this game. Now, I don't watch a lot of hockey, so maybe this was just sloppy, bad hockey, but I'm watching this, man, and it's like, there's a pass. Oh, he missed it. Oh, he's got it. He's all alone. Oh, he got it picked. It's just chaos. It's just everything chaos, man. Now, that last goal, what's his name? Connor McConnor. I don't know. He's good. He's like a good young player, Connor McConnor. We're just going to call him that. Connor McConnor. Or is it Connor McCrosby? Let's call him that. I think that was it. Let's call him Connor McCrosby. Connor McCrosby, that was a nice shot at the end. That was just... Can we also talk about the goalies? They're like, oh, these goalies are amazing. No. It's all just luck. A goalie is it's just about space management. That's all it is. Glove saves are cool. I will admit to you that a glove save is badass. Looks cool, but don't be fooled by the optics. No skill. There's no skill involved in a glove save. You got a giant glove. The glove is gigantic. If you just put it in the relative vicinity of where you think the puck is going, chances are it's going to end up in the fucking glove. Because, oh, he's amazing glove save. Like, it's just a reflex. He put his glove up and it went in. It's not a skill. These people aren't good. They can't pass. He centers it over the middle. Ah! Just random chaos, these people. They're not good at it. They're not as good at their chosen sport as other athletes are at their chosen sport. When I see a player get on base, when I see a player use his eye to draw a walk and then steal second and then advance to third and then score, I love that. I am watching somebody who is utilizing all of the skills that he possesses and then placing them within the realm of this sport. That ain't hockey. Hockey is, it went that way, chase it. And I don't understand icing. Why is that suddenly illegal? What? Just let them play. What the fuck? Just let them keep playing. Icing. Holy fuck. And it's too long. Here's the other thing about hockey. We don't need a third period. You want to make hockey successful on television? Here's what you do. You make it 2 periods with an intermission between the 2 periods. You keep them at 20 minutes. You make it a nice 2-hour TV block. That's how you do it. 3 periods? There's 2 halftimes? 2 fucking halftimes in hockey. Are you out of your mind? Even soccer does 2 halves, right? Come on, man. Hockey's all kinds of stupid. Basketball players, they actually have mastered skills that pertain directly to their sport. The only thing hockey players can do is skate. That's it. Oh, you skate. You're a figure skater. You're a goony figure skater. You can't catch a pass. You guys can't pass to each other. I don't know. Maybe it was ugly hockey. Maybe it was just bad hockey. Barney says, if the difference between the greatest player and my 49-year-old fat ass sitting on the couch is 1 point a game, I'm not watching that sport. Yeah, you're right. I don't get it. Byron says, Canada is terrible. You should visit and check out what it takes for their MAID program to off you. I've been to Canada a lot. I love Canada. Canada's fucking great. What are you talking about? MAID program? Dude, you need to go to Canada. You're the one that doesn't seem to understand what Canada is. Canada is Wisconsin. That's all. It's just it's Wisconsin on steroids. Canada's fucking great. They're wonderful people. They're not our enemy. But okay, I guess we need an enemy now. Because suddenly, Putin's our buddy. Is that it? fuck Canada because Putin's not. Oh my God, what is happening here? What is happening? All right, so now I'm going to make an admission. Remember earlier in the show, I apologized and I told y'all that I loved you. Well, here's why. I don't know what happened, but at some point I started rooting for Canada. I was on Team Canada. I went into that game all big, dumb, stupid American meathead. I was like, yeah, let's go, USA, USA. And then I'm watching the game, and I just liked the Canadian players better. I just liked also. Nope, not going to go in. There was one particular guy who was behind the American team's bench, and he was on camera every time they showed the American team's bench. And he was just an ass. He was just obviously for the American team, and he was an asshole, and he was behaving like an asshole. And every time I'd see him on camera, I'm like, oh, that is what the fucking world thinks we are? This fucking asshole. And every time they showed Canadians, as to be expected, well behaved there. The Americans were, I did like seeing all the American idiots like all sad and stuff at the end. The camera always goes to the audience. It's like, why are you fucking sad? This was a stupid exhibition game. It doesn't mean anything. It's the first time it's been done. It's not even like there's a grand tradition of, I can't believe we didn't win the 4 days. Stop fucking crying, you pussy. Hockey. It's a stupid sport. All right, there you go. Thank you. Hockey. I get it. I get that, people like, I have friends who like hockey. I like hockey when the Blackhawks are good, or the Stars. If the Stars got really good, I would jump on that bandwagon and be like, let's go Stars! But no. What else? What else about the game last night that I like? I like the chick who sang the American national anthem. I don't know who she was, but I was like, don't know who she is. They're like multi-time Grammy winner, and she comes out totally hot. Age appropriate too. Like she looked like she was like late 40s hot, which is good for me. So I'm like, that's good. That'll work. She did this little thing at the end, like at the end of the national anthem where she winked at the camera. It was hot. It was like American hot. I'm like, yeah, flags and eagles and hot chicks winking. What else? Any other thoughts about the big 4 nations hockey tournament from yesterday? Nah, that's pretty much it. That's it. Al says he loves minor league hockey. There's more fighting. Yeah, that'll be great. If they cannot master the sport, and they can't, they can't. I don't know how many passes get completed. How many hockey passes? Is it like 10%? Because I'm not saying that they don't, like, initially they'll get, but then they'll immediately get stolen. Like, they'll lose it. Now he's got it. Now it's going this way. Here's me. Look at me. Stick handling. I'm coming. I'm going to score. It's 1-on-1. Oh, somebody took it from me. Oh, it's going that way now. Fuck hockey. It's a stupid sport. It's all chaos. There's no skill. It's whoever's closest to the puck when it bounces in their direction. That's what hockey is. Not a skill. Skating is a skill. They're good skaters. Not good enough to be Olympic figure skaters, but they're good skaters. Let's see here. Yeah, Frank's got a good point. Frank says a team that practices would be passing better. This is not a team. These were teams that were just thrown together. So you're right. That's maybe it. Maybe I need to watch some NHL hockey. Maybe I'll see some passes or some plays. I saw no plays. I heard the announcers telling me that they're setting up for plays, but I never actually saw a play be executed. I swear to God, one of those goals was just a dude kicking it with his skate. One of those goals was just, kicked it in. What the fuck is that? And then you got to score more. Can we make the goals bigger? Can we do that? What if we made the goals? Here's the thing. Let's make this. What if we made the goals 4 times as large as they are now? 4 times as large, but you get 2 goalies. Two goalies. Huh? Yeah, let's do that. Hockey's got to do something. And let's also be completely honest about this. Hockey is running around, patting themselves on the back like, wow, what an amazing success this 4 nations tournament was. Nobody was even paying attention to hockey until we came up with this idea for the 4 nations. Hockey, you didn't do this. Trump did this. You didn't do this. The Canadian fans who booed did this. None of us even heard of the Ford. No one in America even heard of this stupid tournament until the national anthem got booed. That's when we all got on board. Hockey, you didn't do this. If there wasn't this completely unnecessary and unexplainable rift now between the United States and Canada, if that didn't exist, no one would give a shit about this game. It was just a stupid exhibition NHL game. Nobody cares. All right, there you have it. Byron says the goalies would end up hurting each other. And they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. And won't it be fun watching the goalies figure out how to both patrol the same now 40-foot open? I don't know. I just got to do something. Got to make it bigger. No, you don't want it bigger. You want it bigger because then they'll just chase the puck more. That's the thing that I hate about icing. All right. Because you would think a hockey game, just start the clock. You just let it go. And the clock should just keep going because the ball, unlike hockey or unlike soccer, or unlike basketball, the ball isn't going to go out of bounds. The puck ain't going out of bounds. The puck is staying in play the entire time. Why do you need to call icing again? Why do you need to stop play? Why? Just let it fucking, I swear to God, the first quarter was 20 minutes. I'm watching the first quarter because I didn't know at that point how committed I was to it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch this. I definitely want to see who wins, but I ended up watching the whole thing. But in the first quarter, I'm like, we're like an hour and a half in, and there's still 15 minutes left of a 20-minute. I'm like, this is hockey. Why is there so much play stoppage? What is going on? Keep going. Let's go. Keep going. God, jeez. It's not a good sport. I totally see why it's like the 6th or 7th sport in America now. It's just not a good sport. All right, let's keep going. There you have it. That's my whole takedown of hockey and the 4 tribes, or what's it called, 4 nations hockey tournament. Let's move our attention now to the post office, which is very interesting because apparently the post office might be going away. People, it's a lot of the people who don't like what the guy is doing. The president. All right, a lot of people don't like it. And so now this is another, what? He's taking the post office away. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. It's going to affect my internet service. I get, because, everything is digital now. I get everything via mail, via email and shit, texting. I don't need, the only people who send me shit in the mail are people who are demanding I pay them. And I don't need them. So that's fine. Trump's got an idea. He's going to get rid of the post office. As Trump is preparing to issue an executive order, possibly this week, to fire the members of the Postal Service's governing board and put the agency under the direct control of the Commerce Department, according to 2 government officials. The plan was earlier reported by the Washington Post. The Postal Service board is expected to fight the move. Ha! Good luck. Bunch of nope. You better, hey, Postal Service board members, you better keep quiet or Sean Hannity is going to start talking about you on his show. And all of a sudden, you're going to get to learn what Fauci's been going through for the past 4 years. That's right. Shut your mouth, postal people. The Postal Service board is expected to fight the move and is exploring legal action. It couldn't be determined whether the board would be able to stop the order because its members are appointed by the U.S. president and confirmed by the Senate. Well, if you serve at the pleasure of the president, then I don't think that you can say anything when he says you're fired or you're gone. So this is all a lead up to what many believe will be the privatization of the post office. Look, dude, if I got to send something to somebody, I send it FedEx. I send it Amazon. I send it private. I don't know the last time I've been to a post office and went, can I sell this? How many stamps do I need? That's not a thing anymore. So, okay, so Trump says he's going to get rid of the post office. So what is that going to do? Probably going to save us some money. All right, well, make sure we keep an eye on where that money went. Where'd that money? Hey, where'd all that money go? Like 2 years from now. Where'd all that money go from the post office? You don't know? Okay. I mean, just telling us that you're saving money by shutting shit down and then, not getting money. I don't know. Okay. So there you go. We're saving money, and that's all that matters. I don't know how many of you have dads or, family who work for the post office. I don't know if they're going to lose their jobs. Probably. Who knows? Whatever new or maybe just whatever new company pops up, they'll just hire everybody. I don't know. Yeah, change is difficult. Change is difficult. And if you don't need a post office anymore, okay, that's not a crazy one. Not going to die on that hill. Hey, you stupid libs, stop dying on dumb hills. The post office is not a hill to die on. Nobody gets it. We don't use it anymore. So stop it, okay? Stop it. There's also rumors out there that we're all going to get $5,000 checks. I'll believe that when I see it. Although I will say this. The only time I got COVID money was when Trump sent me like $1,500 COVID money. Just got a check one day. Actually, I wasn't even a check. It just like showed up in my Venmo or my bank account or whatever. It's pretty awesome. Good deal. What else? I don't know. $5,000, they say. Everybody gonna get $5,000. Somehow I'm not gonna get that $5,000. I don't think I'll get the $5,000. I'm off the grid. I'm off the grid in a lot of ways that I think might preclude me from getting any kind of government handout. And you know what? I'm an American. I don't want a handout. You people, you money grubbers, you take your $5,000 and buy jet skis. A nation of jet skis. I bet that's what he said. I bet they said, how much should we give the average American? And then Trump said, how much does a jet ski cost? Like $5,000. You can get an entry level Yamaha. I don't know. I don't even know if that's the price, but I'll take it. I don't think I'm going to get it because, again, off the radar and all that, but I'll take it if it comes somehow. You people tip the freaking show. You guys all suddenly get flush with like $5,000. You better take care of this show for a couple of months, especially considering that I've had to go off the radar and will be ineligible myself for any kind of government handout. Take care of the show if you suddenly get flush. You guys can give like $1,000 each. Come on, get us to the summer. How great would that be? Anyway, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know that they're coming. All right, let's turn to some local news. We got, this is a big story in my neck of the woods. You know, I live there in the fancy Highland Park area. And, they got the best schools. They got the best everything. Everything for the rich people. Highland Park, Texas is one of the nation's wealthiest zip codes. It's all super rich people, which is why the story coming out of Highland Park Middle School has got a whole bunch of people in the area in a tizzy. Check this out. First of all, Highland Park Middle School. We have friends who have children who go there. Highland Park Middle School is, if I dare say, within walking distance of where I live. It's very close. Some might say right around the corner. It's a gorgeous school. It is like, wow. It is exactly what you would expect from America's most incredible zip code. It looks like SMU. It's on the campus of SMU already, so it blends in with the buildings of SMU, but holy shit is McCullough Intermediate and Highland Park Middle School. They're a combined campus. Is that a gorgeous, gorgeous school. So comes word that one of the teachers at Highland Park Middle School might be embroiled in a 20-year-old cold case murder of a child. Wait, why did I do that? No, you know what I need? I need a sound effect that does like the plot thickens, like dun, dun, dun. It's been 3 years. I've got the same 4 sound effects because I don't know how to program sound effects. These are the 4 sound effects that Ed programmed for me when we started this show. I don't know how to. Anyway, Highland Park Middle School has a teacher, a Spanish teacher, who was apparently let out of the school. Now, I heard the story from a little kid. All right, I heard the story from an 8th grader, and here's how the 8th grader told me this story. And then I'll read you the actual newspaper story. Okay. So the 8th grader says to me, "Did you hear what happened in my school?" I said, "No, I didn't." He said, The FBI raided my school and took a teacher out in handcuffs. Whoa, that happened today? Is it on the news? No, they kept it quiet. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know how they keep that quiet. So what did she do? She murdered a bunch of people. I'm like, all right, murdered a bunch of. I go, do you know this teacher? Is she one of your teachers? No, she's not one of my teachers, but I've seen her around. I know who she is. And I'm like, so you're telling me that the FBI raided a middle school in the middle of the school day, a middle school where, the children of senators and congressmen and Supreme Court grandchildren and all that, a school where those kinds of kids go, got raided in the middle of the day by the FBI, and they took a teacher out of a classroom kicking and screaming because she murdered a bunch of people. Is this the story I'm getting from you, 8th grader? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, okay. So obviously I had to do a little bit of research on my own. And as it turns out, that ain't the story at all. that ain't what happened. She hasn't even been arrested. She just wanted for questioning and was questioned. And all right, so here's the story. This comes out of Highland Park, Texas. Highland Park Middle School teacher has been tied to a cold case murder. Yeah, she's involved. She's tied to a murder from like 20 years ago. Law enforcement have suggested that a Spanish teacher at Highland Park Middle School may have been involved in or be concealing information about the disappearance of a 9-year-old girl in North Carolina 25 years ago. No one has apparently been arrested or charged with a crime in connection with the disappearance of the girl. 9-year-old Aisha Jaquila Degree has not been seen since February 14, 2000. She vanished while walking along a highway in Shelby, North Carolina. Witnesses reported that she was pulled into a 1970s green Lincoln-style vehicle. Investigators searched for Asha for 2 weeks after she went missing, including with the dive teams and aerial searches, tracking. Canines were involved. Everything. Interviews, neighborhood canvassing. Police now believe that Asha was the victim of a homicide and her body was concealed. 17 months after the little girl disappeared, so this would be in 2002, 17 months after Asha disappeared, investigators found Asha's book bag and clothing wrapped in 2 sealed garbage bags along the highway about 21 miles north of where she disappeared. Investigators have since used genealogical data to tie that evidence to the then 13-year-old sister of Lizzie Grace Foster. Lizzie Grace Foster is the teacher at Highland Park Middle School. And we'll just show you her. So you understand this? So the book bag that was found 17 months after this little girl went missing has been tied to the sister of a Highland Park Middle School teacher. That's the story. Now remember, the 8th grader told me the FBI raided the school, took it. I love kids and their stories. All right, so investigators have since used geological data to tie the evidence to the then 13-year-old sister of Lizzie Grace Foster. The Lizzie Grace Foster herself, the teacher who was in hot water here at Highland Park Middle School in Texas, she was only 16 at the time. So she was 16 and she's got a 13-year-old sister, and somehow DNA or whatever has tied the sister to the book bag that was found. Foster's parents, Roy Lee Dedman and Connie Elliott Dedman, creepy names for people suspected of murder. Foster's parents, Roy Lee Dedman and Connie Elliott Dedman, are named in the warrant as suspects in the disappearance, though Foster, the teacher at Highland Park Middle School, who was just 16 years old at the time, is not a suspect. All right, so you see what's going on here. So what seems to happen is a little girl went missing in North Carolina when this teacher was 16 years old. The parents of this teacher are believed to be involved because a book bag found belonging to the missing girl had DNA evidence that tied another sister or family member. And also bearing the lead, they didn't mention this here, the car that was described as being the car that the little girl got into 25 years ago is the same car that this teacher from Highland Park Middle School, same car her dad drove at the time. It looks like dad's a murderer. Looks like mom and dad might be like creepy murderers. Now it gets even worse. Why, 25 years later, is she now being arrested? She's got a completely different life. Because 10 years ago, she went to a party and she got really drunk and she told somebody that she murdered a little girl 20 years ago. She got drunk at a party. A teacher at the Highland Park Middle School got drunk at a party years ago and told somebody that she murdered this little girl. That person has now gone to the FBI. I don't understand why. I mean, 25 years, cold case. Let's keep listening. 17 months. Okay. Investigators have since used geological data to tie the evidence to her 13-year-old sister. Her parents, Lee and Connie Dedman, are named as suspects in the warrant. The warrant states that due to the ages of Roy Dedman and Connie Dedman's daughters in the year 2000, investigators believe adult assistance from the parents would have been necessary in the execution and or concealment of the crime. So I think police think that her daughter did it, but that then her parents helped her daughter cover up the crime. The teacher arrested at Highland Park is just the sister who was like 16, who was probably there. The warrant includes extensive text messages from Foster. Foster is the teacher. All right, now we get some text messages. What's she saying to her family via text? People say stupid things on text. They don't think that people are ever going to see their or read their text messages. They will. Don't text anything. The warrant includes extensive text messages from Foster to her sisters, as well as information that a man told officers on September 18th that Foster admitted killing Asha. The admission allegedly occurred while Foster was intoxicated and upset at a house party. All right. Police have approached Foster several times, including at Highland Park Middle School on September the 27th, to talk about the new information in the case. Foster took a polygraph test in February and was found to have been deceptive when asked if she was concealing information. Foster, an 8th grade Spanish teacher, is originally from North Carolina, blah, blah, blah. She's been working in the Highland Park school district since 2023. All right, there you have it. So think about this. This is just a normal teacher, Spanish teacher. Everybody, rich school. Oh, Mrs. So-and-so is so nice, Mrs. Foster. Oh, she's so wonderful. Man, people have shit in their histories. She's a 16-year-old girl, right? So 16-year-old girl parents are probably complete dirtbags. It sounds like it. Jeez Louise, man. All this time, 25 years, she's like, oh, she's got this dark thing. Probably keeps her up at night. I know it would me. She's got this dark thing going on, and she's just going about her life. She's living the lap of luxury, teaching rich kids in Highland Park, and then all of a sudden, the jig's up. Murder, man. Murder doesn't go away. You murder somebody, if they find something 50 years later, they'll come get you. All right, here's another story out of here in North Texas. This is not a good story. This is not good, okay? This is not, we shouldn't get the big foam fingers out and start chanting word number one, because this is really bad. This is really bad for the local economy. Now, we know that North Texas is booming. We know that North Texas is one of the fastest growing areas in the country. There are some projections that say that North Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, by the year 2050 could be the largest metropolitan area in America. Very real thought. All you got to do is connect freaking Sherman and Denison all the way down to Waxahachie or Red Oak or however far you want to go. Yeah, it's crazy. It's nothing but land, and people are moving here. So it's big. Big. However, this is a very troubling thing that came out yesterday. DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth, tops the nation's lists of new rental home construction. That's right. You want to rent a home. You want somebody else to actually own and have all the equity and all that. You want to rent a home. All of these new neighborhoods that are popping up here in North Texas, many of them are rental home communities. Gated ghettos, they're known in certain parts of the country. These are communities that are beautiful single-family homes. They have a gate. They have all of the appearances of being something very exclusive and very nice. But the fact of the matter is that the homes are dirt cheap. They're rentals, and they rent to people who just destroy the neighborhood. But they're gated ghettos. It's a thing. It's not about keeping us out. It's about keeping those people in, giving them their own little wall. And that's what's happening here in Texas. There are all of these communities that are being built that are rental communities. They're apartment complexes. They're apartment complexes that are just small single family homes instead. North Texas is leading the league. in this new thing. What does it mean? It means that the people who live here in North Texas, who reside in these homes, will have no equity. They will have absolutely no investment. Have you ever been to a really bad neighborhood in an urban area? Go to the bad neighborhoods of New York. Go to the bad neighborhoods of Philly or Detroit or Chicago or Los Angeles. Those people don't own anything, so there is no pride of ownership. They don't give a fuck if windows are broken or if the yard isn't mowed or maintained. That's pride of ownership. So what we're building here for the next 50 years of whatever are these, like, well, as I say, they've been called gated ghettos. Gated ghettos. They seem nice. Texas is seeing a surge in new homes for rent, and according to a new study, these build-to-rent communities are becoming the most popular homes in the area. A report by 2 Point Homes, blah, blah, an international home and realty, blah, 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 revealed that Texas is leading the nation in new builds for rentals, single-family homes, as far as single-family homes that are under construction. Leading the nation. Realtors and economists said this is a very big deal. It's not a very good deal, but it is a very big deal. Dallas real estate agent Diana Gomez with Something Realty said she has seen swaths of these new build-to-rent communities under construction all across DFW. They are especially visible in the suburbs of Dallas, McKinney, Princeton, Melissa, and all the way up to Denton. Right now, it is the biggest drive for these communities is affordability. Yeah, I mean, you get all of the pretense of having a home and all of this kind of stuff, but it's still, you're just paying an apartment rent. You're living in a house. You got a driveway and a mailbox. And oh my God, look at that. There's a gate. You can't just come in. Young people, Gen Z, millennials, and the less fortunate can't afford homes right now, especially with the high interest rates, but they want to live in a new home. So these opportunities, okay, you get it. It's the opportunity to live in a house and you don't own anything. It's not good. It's not good when the emerging communities are rental communities and not communities that the actual citizens who are dropping roots there. Well, they're not dropping roots because they're renting. That's not a good long-term play for a community. Pride of ownership, pride of being a member of a building new community is very important. You're going to attract a transient community, people who have no desire to stay there for 20, 50 years. No desire to raise kids. No desire to, that's just, my God, if it doesn't work out, we're just going to have these massively abandoned neighborhoods all over. Oh, by the way, also one of the biggest owners of these rental communities who are buying up all of these properties, just so you know, the Chinese. Yeah, the Chinese are big in this. The Chinese are buying these giant pieces of land and then renting homes to Americans. And then they're owning the actual. You get it. You get how this works. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. All right, this is our last story that we're going to do as it concerns the local scene. Let's now talk about the King of Arlington. That's right. A new segment. Of course, J.D. Fry was the King of Arlington. He was a producer on the old Pugs and Kelly show for a period of time. J.D. Fry, King of Arlington, loved his city, was from there, was proud of all the accomplishments and all that. So we called him the King of Arlington. So now we've got a new segment here because I've determined that as far as North Texas go with the local breaking news, Arlington is the Florida of North Texas. The best stories. So from time to time, I will find a citizen of Arlington who did something incredibly cool or silly or whatever, and we will dub the King of Arlington. All right, so today we've got a King of Arlington. Although, as I said, he's going to be deposed. Because he's in exile, king in exile, sentenced to 20 years in prison. Here's what this guy did. And I maybe you remember this because I remembered it. That's why when I saw this story today, I go, oh my God. Yeah, we talked about that. So this happened a couple of years ago. And I want to say that we talked about it on Pugs and Parker. A dude in Arlington. Let's see, what's his name? His name is Miguel Pastron Hernandez. Miguel Pastron Hernandez. Fine resident of Arlington, Texas. He got a ride share. like an Uber or a Lyft or something. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. I should probably have read the story. I don't need to read the story. I know how much time he got in jail, and I remember what he did. So I'll just tell you about what he did. This is the guy who got into a rideshare in Arlington, and he made the rideshare driver take him to Miami. Yeah, Miami, Florida. And when I say made him, because he had a gun. He pulled a gun on the rideshare driver. Days. These dudes spent days like driving from Arlington, Texas. Here, I'll read you the story. You know, why not? Why not? Anyway, he got 20 years. He was sentenced to 20 years yesterday for taking the rideshare guy at gunpoint all the way to Miami, Florida. Arlington man has been sentenced to, it says 12 here. 12. He'll probably do 20. I don't imagine he's going to behave himself. A guy who makes those kinds of decisions, like this guy thought, he didn't think it through. Like this guy thought, I'm just going to pull a gun on a rideshare guy and make him take me to Tampa or Miami, I guess is where he went. You know, now I'm thinking it through, and I'm like, there's a high probability that could work. It would be hard to keep a gun on a guy for like 20 hours in a car. You're in the backseat. Like that would be, because the entire time you have to, if you're the guy, if I'm this Hernandez dude, if I'm the guy with the gun, okay, I have to be aware that at every second, the guy in the front seat is scheming ways to get that gun away from, right? So I got to be on point, man. I got to be dialed in because that dude driving is like, all right, when is my chance coming? When is my chance coming? So you can, first of all, that's the first thing. So that's hard. It's like, can you imagine being in a car for like 20 hours and you can't even look at your phone because... All right, but if you're thinking, so I'm going to do that, that's the hardest part, keeping the gun on him. That's going to be the hardest part. So if you're thinking that's the hardest part, and then when you get to Miami, you just run, right? You just like, all right, thanks, man. And then you just disappear. I could see how one might think that could work because it's so random. It's just... The hardest part is definitely going to be holding the gun on him for like 20 hours in a car. Oh, God, that would be the worst. Arlington man has been sentenced to 12 years for kidnapping rideshare driver, forcing him to drive 1,300 miles. A man has been sentenced to 12 years in federal prison after kidnapping a rideshare driver at gunpoint and forcing them to drive from Arlington, Texas to Florida. The suspect, Miguel Pestron Hernandez, threatened the driver with multiple guns and used a prop phone and used a phone app to avoid police on the trip. Once in Florida, he planned to... Oh, that's it. Oh, there was more to this story. I forgot. So why was he going to Florida? You're like, Pugs, what was his hurry? Why was he needing to get to Florida? He needed to get to Florida because he had part two of his plan. Part two of his plan was he was going to kidnap a social media influencer and hold her for ransom for the family. $2 million. Okay, so that was his plan. Once in Florida, he planned to kidnap a social media influencer for ransom, but was caught at a convenience store while purchasing kidnapping supplies. Kidnapping supplies? What are kidnapping supplies? Okay, all right. No, let's think about this seriously. Okay, so I'm going to kidnap somebody. What do I need? I'm going to need duct tape. I think duct tape is important. I'm going to need duct tape. All right, we're done. That's pretty much it. I don't know what else we need. Kidnapping supplies. Duct tape. Duct tape will do the hands. Duct tape will do the mouth. Duct tape. Police arrested Pestron Hernandez hours later after running from the store. He was captured in a nearby park in Arlington. Okay, so we're getting more good stories. Sentencing. What we need to know. Miguel Alejandro Pestron Hernandez, 24. Was sentenced to 12 years in prison. He was convicted on charges of kidnapping, carjacking, and possessing a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. The case was investigated by Miami police, and Pestron Hernandez was charged in Florida. A Lyft driver picked him up in Arlington. The ride was scheduled to end at a gas station, but when they arrived at the gas station was closed. So Pestron Hernandez then pulled a gun and told the driver to drive him to Florida. All right, that's all we need to know. King of Florida. Let's see what this guy looks like. Or King of Arlington. Do we have a picture of him? I think we might have a picture of him. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. No, we don't have a picture of him. All right, never mind. King of Florida. Your eyes are not worthy to gaze upon his divinity. Anyway, so you don't need to see him. Walmart is out there talking shit. Walmart, they announced yesterday, they're like, shit's going to get bad. Just letting you know. Shit's gonna get bad. Walmart is the big barometer of how our economy is going to fare over the next quarter. It always has been, at least for the last 10 years. Walmart indicates what we can buy. They decide the price on shit. Walmart is coming out and saying, shit's gonna get bad. You thought it was bad, it's gonna get bad. Of course, I think this has to do with like reciprocal tariffs and all that kind of stuff, but whatever. Walmart's warning us. Here's a sad one. This is a sad story. Although I think we're going to survive this. I think we're going to be fine. You know what, guys? Actually, I need to take a quick break. I need to take a quick break. Oh, man, this sucks. I know. I'm sorry. I do. I need to take a quick break. You know, my breaks don't take long. I need to run to the bathroom. I've been kind of like, should I? I should, because I just looked at all the stuff that I want to get into here. There's a whole bunch more to talk about today. We're in no hurry. So just let me go run and take a quick break. Okay? All right. Are we good? I'll be right back. Please. Apologize. Boom. All right. Sorry about that. Thank you. I appreciate you. Just run to the bathroom real quick. I was like, all right. Where were we? Oh, that's right. We got to talk about this. All right. So here's a big story. I'm going to work through this in my head. I heard it this morning and I didn't read the story, but I just saw the headline and, you know, I had some initial thoughts and I'm like, oh no, let's save that. Let's try and process this live on the stream so I can react authentically. Here's the story. Hooters is filing for bankruptcy. Hooters. Strange, you know, since it seems like we're, you know, coming into an era where I would imagine things like Hooters would once again be embraced without shame. Hooters used to be fun. Hooters was when Hooters first burst on the scene. Let me tell you something about Hooters, okay? I'd never had a buffalo wing before Hooters. You probably hadn't either, unless you're from upstate New York. That's, you know, if you're from like that region, maybe you knew about buffalo wings, but buffalo wings were not a thing in 1980, okay? Neither were nachos, although in this case, if you were a Texas Ranger fan and you went to Ranger games in the 1970s, you had nachos before anyone else. So that's where nachos were invented there. So you knew about that, but not buffalo wings. I didn't know about buffalo wings in Chicago either. You didn't know about them down here in Texas until Hooters. Hooters moved into all of these big metropolitan areas and introduced a new cuisine, buffalo wings. They're now a staple. And I honestly don't know when the last time something like that happened, aside from nachos. Like there was a period of time where nachos weren't a thing. Nobody eat nachos. What? What is that? We didn't know what not. And then suddenly nachos. Now nachos are a staple. Same with buffalo wings. Buffalo wings, they didn't exist. I promise you, they didn't exist anywhere outside of upstate New York before 1980 and Hooters. And Hooters probably jumped up around that time, right? In Florida, there were like a couple of dudes from New York were like, I bet people would like these if they just knew what they tasted like. So they said, how do we get people to taste this thing that they'd never had before? And somebody said, tits. And now we all love buffalo wings. All right. So I understand that there is like an eye roll when it comes to Hooters, right? Oh, Hooters, really? Oh, right. It's become that. Hooters has become something shameful, something that we don't embrace. But I'm here to tell you that we can all agree that buffalo wings are awesome. And the only reason that buffalo wings took off and became the global phenomenon that they are, is because of tits. Tits did all the heavy lifting with introducing buffalo wings to us. We didn't go to Hooters for the first time. The first time you went to Hooters, you didn't go to Hooters for these chicken wing things, these spicy wings. No, you went there because tits. That's why you went. So this is a good time for me to talk about my long-standing belief that the gay community should have embraced the Hooters phenomenon. Hooters, get it? A euphemism for boobs, but also it's not boobs, it's an owl. We're talking about owls here at Hooters. Get not boobs. That's a coincidence. That's like their whole tongue-in-cheeky thing. And I dig it. So I wanted to open up a gay bar. What's that, Pugs? You say you want to open a gay bar? Yeah, gay money spends. I got no problem with the gay people. Whatever. Their money spends. And besides, this idea is specific to gay culture. So I always wanted to open a gay alternative to Hooters called Peckers. Peckers. And it's a woodpecker. That ain't about dicks. It's about a woodpecker. See, get it? And so here's what our dudes would. This is we'd have waiters at Peckers, not Hooters. We'd have waiters, but they'd be wearing Speedos. And they'd all have big peckers. I'm not going to be involved in that part of it. I'm going to hire some gay dude to manage the place. Some people make sure that gay dudes like the waiters. So imagine that. They're just walking out and here's the other idea that I had. Okay. So in this, I'd probably have to get with Walter Lantz and stuff and get because I want to use Woody Woodpecker. I want Woody Woodpecker to be the default branding of my string of gay bars. By the way, the best part's coming. I haven't even told you the best part. So I want the bikinis to be I want the dudes penises to be the woodpecker. I want a woodpecker face on the bikini. You get that? On the Speedo, it's like a woodpecker face. And I'm telling you, man, gays would love that. Gays would love that. Now, here's what you're asking. Buffalo wings are the thing that is known for Hooters. Hooters, sure, big boobs, but also buffalo wings. So what are you going to serve there at Peckers? What are you going to serve at Peckers? Hot link sausages. It's our specialty. We're going to have hot link sausage. You got something better? Hot dogs, maybe? Maybe it's got to be a sausage product. It has to be. So I was thinking hot links. Come on. And although it's not healthy. And the gay community is very healthy. Sushi? No, it's got to be sausage. Anyway, there you go. So if you know any billionaires, here's what I would like to do. I would like to take over all of the existing Hooters and turn them into gay-themed sausage restaurants called Peckers. Simple. I'm also going to need some money because I got to call the Woody Woodpecker people and I'm going to have to pay them something because I really want to use Woody Woodpecker as our brand ambassador for, again, our chain of gay-themed sausage restaurants called Peckers. About a woodpecker. It's not. So Hooters is filing bankruptcy, or at least they've announced that they are looking into some sort of corporate restructuring. And again, I'm a bit confused by this because I would think that, we're heading into 2025. Boobs are back. We're good with boobs again. We're good. Not only are we good with boobs again, but we're allowed to be I like boobs. Couldn't do that. Couldn't do that for like the last 20 years. Why are you a misogynist? I'm not. I just like boobs. Not a misogynist. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. I like boobs. You probably would freak out if a woman was flying your airplane. I don't give a shit about that. I know a lot of smart women. I know a lot of women who I would want doing like important shit over the dudes that I know. So no, it's not like that. But I still like boobs. I know I'm horrible. So you would think Hooters would be able to sort of, play it, but I guess not. I guess I'll say this about our Hooters, our downtown Hooters. Maybe Adam Rainey can help me out with this, because I know he drives around this area. He's drives rideshare and all that. So the downtown Dallas Hooters caught on fire over the summer. Caught on fire is a big fire. So every day I drive past the downtown Hooters, but I only drive past the back end of it. I get off the highway there at the Perot Museum, and then I make a right when I get to the backside of the Hooters that burned down. Is that place open? Has it reopened? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like... it looks like maybe it had a fire. I don't know. I can't tell. So it's been months. And if the downtown Dallas Hooters that's located right there in like that happening area of downtown, there's a lot of happening places there. That place isn't reopening. Then I think that doesn't bode well for Hooters, because that's one of the showcase ones. That's not a Hooters in, Denison. That's Hooters in downtown Dallas, next to the American Airlines Center. That's what you call a showcase shop. So I don't know if that's open or not. I have no idea. Wait a second. Peter says there was a Peckers in Grapevine as well. Yeah. Hugh says there's already a place off Oaklawn called Peckers, and they use a woodpecker logo. Yeah, I know about that. No, trust me. I've been saying this long before that place exists. They will be hearing from my lawyers. They're gonna learn the hard way, like those people that opened up the gay bar across from Love Field called The Cockpit. They're gonna learn you can't steal my ideas. I always said that I think a good place for a gay bar, or a good name for a gay bar near an airport, was The Cockpit. And then it turns out that there is a gay bar near Love Field called The Cockpit. Although I guess I don't know if it's a gay bar. Total missed opportunity if it's not. If it's not a gay bar, it's just it's a miss with the naming. And it turns out there is one. I didn't do anything about it, but anyway, so it doesn't surprise me that somebody else had the genius idea of a gay bar named Peckers. But I had this idea back in the 90s in Chicago. I've been talking about this. So Hooters is going away. Their wings are good. Could Hooters? Yes, I was just gonna say, could Hooters survive if they just stopped with the boobs? But why would they stop with the boobs? Why? That's sort of their thing. Do they think it's the boobs are the reason that like they're not doing good business, or is it just that like other people have now come in to the Buffalo game and been like, we don't need boobs to sell ours. Buffalo Wild Wings doesn't use boobs. I don't know. Anyway, Hooters. Stand tall, Hooters. I still love your wings. Oh, that's the other thing. Let's talk about this about the Hooters. Hooters buffalo wings, if you're eating them at Hooters, if they're coming right out of the fryer and they're coming right onto your plate, Hooters buffalo wings are the best buffalo wings. I know it's subjective. People like different. I like pepper. I like lemon pepper. Okay, fuck you. We're talking about buffalo wings. Okay, if you like buffalo wings, for my money, Hooters are the best. Now, why are they the best? Probably because they were the first. Probably because they set the bar for what I expect buffalo wings to taste like, and everything that I've had after has just been a variation of what I first came to know as a Hooters buffalo wing. So I think the Hooters buffalo wings are great. Everything else at Hooters is atrocious. They have the worst fucking food on the entire planet. There is nothing. It's all awful. Except the wings. Just get the wings. They fuck up shrimp. How do you fuck up shrimp? They do it. They do it. I wanted a fish sandwich once, and somebody's like, "You got to get the grouper sandwich at Hooters." I'm like, "All right, I want a fish sandwich." I get the grouper sandwich, frozen in the middle. Frozen, I'm biting into it. I'm like, this fucking thing is frozen in the middle. First of all, it's just a frozen fish patty that this isn't even fresh. Fuck Hooters. Food was terrible. Terrible. All right. Anyway, the wings are good. I don't know. I'd still like their. How about this? Let's do this. All right, let's go. I'm in a business meeting now. All right, I got some ideas for you. Thank you, gentlemen from Hooters. I appreciate you gathering here. Here's how I save your business. Are you ready? The whole world is about the gig economy. The whole world is about, home delivery. What are you doing, brick and mortar? You don't need a restaurant. Ain't nobody coming to your place to watch a game anymore. They've got 100-inch screens in their living room. Here's what you got to do, Hooters. Here's how you save the business. You downsize. You just remember photo mats? That's all you need. You just need a little giant photo mat, and you need room to make chicken wings. That's it. The only thing you're selling are wings. Get rid of the fish sandwiches. Get rid of the shrimp. What are you, stupid? You're just selling wings. That's it. You send the chicks to people's houses. That's what you're going to do. You still have the hot girls. It's just now it's home delivery. So dudes can just bing bong. And then there's a hot girl in a tight shirt on your porch. What can go wrong? What can go wrong? Come on, Hooters. What do you say? Saving money on rent? The girls let them work for tips. You don't even have to pay them really anymore because they're not waitresses. They're just going to get into their little jacked up Civic. You ever been in a hot girl? You ever been in like a hot 20-year-old girl's car? Oh my God. They are like Gaza. They're like backseat of like a hot 20-year-old girl's car is like Gaza. It's just, what are you doing in this car? Everything. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about Elon Musk, one of my favorite targets. Weird guy. Just the antithesis of cool. That's for sure. He's just, whatever he is, he ain't cool. He's just fucking weird and spazzy and dorky and awkward and all that stuff. And as long as he gets us to Mars, I'm willing to overlook all of that. Because truly, getting us off this fucking planet and starting somewhere fresh is probably the last truly great achievement that humanity is going to achieve down here on Earth. So let's get focused on that. Weirdo Elon, little weird guy with a chainsaw. I saw you yesterday. I'm not going to talk about it. You're a weird guy, Elon. How's Mars going? How we doing with that? Elon, speaking of that, because I follow, so I'm on a whole bunch of like space follows, like space threads. And you look, NASA Dork Twitter is a real thing. And if you're like me, you spend some time on NASA Dork Twitter. So it gives us all of like, it focuses on Elon, the space guy. Like anything about Elon that appears on, these people that I follow and stuff, it's always just about space. So it's not about the weird stuff. It's not about all the other eye-rolling, cringy Elon shit that he seems to be getting into every moment. So one of the things that Elon said yesterday, this wasn't at his CPAC appearance, this was somewhere else, but Elon said yesterday that it's time for the ISS to be deassembled, that the ISS, the International Space Station, which currently has 2 trapped astronauts, the ISS needs to be decommissioned, reassembled, and taken down. And let me tell you, as a NASA dork, let's go, Elon! He is absolutely right that nothing has hamstrung the United States and our ability to explore the universe. Nothing has hamstrung us quite like the combination of 25 years of the space shuttle and then 25 years of the ISS. Because you see, we can only do one thing at a time. So for 25 years, it was all about the space shuttle is just a pickup truck and it will deliver satellites to outer space. And I know that seems boring, but one day in the near future, you will all have phones in your pocket that you will use and you will communicate. That's what the space shuttle was, right? We got these. This is what we got out of the space shuttle. Yeah, I didn't understand it either. We got our phones out of the space shuttle program, all the satellites that they launched, and they mainstreamed that. So it was a very important yet incredibly boring step. The ISS was also very important. The International Space Station was built so that we can conduct all kinds of scientific tests in space, shit that needed to be, can we do this up here? And we've been doing it for 30 years. We don't need it anymore. We don't even have rockets anymore because we've got the ISS. It's all we focused on. So Elon's idea yesterday, which was met with I'm going to say a lot of enthusiasm from Space Dork Twitter. His idea yesterday was that we need to end the ISS program and we need to focus all of our attention on the moon and then the Mars. And I'm like, yep, that's what we need to do. We already know how to get a frog pregnant. We already know how to get a frog pregnant in space. Okay, we've been doing that for 20 years on the ISS. We don't need that anymore. We get basically what we can and can't do. So let's go to the moon. Let's build a permanent place on the moon where you can fuck frogs and do all kinds of weird science shit that apparently needs to be done. So, but that ain't why Elon is trending, because Elon did do a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. And again, the ISS statement, I think, is very important. Let's stop with the ISS and let's move forward with whatever is coming. But also, Elon's got baby mama drama. He's got baby mama. He's got incoming. Is he with anybody right now? Like, does he? Oh, hold on. I just realized something. I got to do this. We're going to run out of space on my flag. That's right. This flag, it only gives me 2 hours of permanent eagle flag backdrop. The show's going to go a little bit late today. So we need to. All right, there we go. That's fine. There you go. Elon's got baby mama drama. He's got. Is he currently with somebody? I don't know. You never see him. So last week we learned Ashley St. Clair. Ashley St. Clair, who I'd never heard of before, smoking. Yeah, she is smoking. She is who Elon Musk needs to be with. Somebody like that. Apparently she's a crazy right-wing influencer, right? She followed me though, and then I think she unfollowed me after she read some of my shit. But I learned about her last week, and I agreed with something that she said, and then she followed me, and then I think unfollowed me. But whatever, we'll see. She's hot. I never heard of her before, but man, oh man, is she mean and pretty. That's what she is. She's a mean, pretty girl. And apparently she got knocked up by old Elon. Elon knocked her up. They were hooking up. She had a baby like 5 months ago. And last week she decided to let the world know that, hey, Elon had baby number 13 with me. And he's ignoring me, right? That was kind of embarrassing. Ashley St. Clair. Wasn't that the deal? Wasn't that kind of the thing? She's like, Elon's ignoring me. Sorry to do it like this. We got a baby, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that was last week. Then again last week, he's in the Oval Office with little X. Remember little X? Little X Musk. Little kid was in the office and he's like clowning around, and Elon's being weird because he's fucking so weird, man. This guy's so weird. So Elon's being weird, but then you got little X being adorable. So it's like, how can he be horrifyingly weird if he's got such a cute little kid, right? It was a diffuser. They used the kid to diffuse from the weirdness. Anyway, it worked. The kid was great. Well, that kid, his mom is someone named Grimes, right? I don't know who Grimes is, apparently. I bet Adam Raina knows. I bet Adam has seen Grimes live in concert. She's a weird alternative singer. I don't know who she is. I just know her in connection to Elon Musk. So Grimes has like 3 kids with Musk. And again, this is just in the wake of Ashley St. Clair going public last week on Twitter with, Elon, you're ignoring your kids, you deadbeat, which is kind of the vibe I got from it. But, guy's the richest man on earth. He's being called a deadbeat. Woo. What hope is there for the rest of us? So that happened last week. And so now this last night, Grimes goes public asking Elon to pay attention to one of their kids. Here's the story. All right. Grimes, does she have a name? Like, is it like Mary? Is it like Mary Grimes? Wait, Kim Grimes. Grimes. And by the way, isn't she also Canadian? Isn't she Canadian? Like, aren't three of Musk's kids live in Canada, right? They're like Canadian citizens, right? Anyway, moving on. Grimes says, "Stop dodging me, Elon. Our child needs urgent medical help." Grimes is taking to Elon Musk's social media platform, X, to try to get in touch with her ex-husband publicly. X, doesn't say ex-husband, I added that. Publicly revealing one of their kids needs urgent medical help, but Elon won't call her back. The singer-writer posted on X Thursday afternoon in a desperate attempt to get the attention of the platform's executive chairman, asking him to please respond to her to discuss their child's medical crisis. All right, here you go. So here's I'll show it to you. This is what she posted. This is you go in public calling out her husband about something concerning one of their kids. It says Grimes. That's her name, Grimes. It's an ugly name. Is she attractive? She's kind of cute, but she's not great. She's not like world's wealthiest man hot, but she's kind of cute, you know. Grimes. It's a bad name. Please respond, says Grimes. Please respond about our child's medical crisis. I am sorry to do this publicly, but it is no longer acceptable to ignore this situation. This requires immediate attention. If you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can so that we can move forward on solving this urgent or solving this. This is urgent. And then comma, Elon. Ooh, that Elon at the end from an X. Woo! That's only an X. If that whole last sentence, man, is just so judgmental of him on her part. Like the last sentence here, the last two sentences. He read that. That's what bugged him most. Here's what bugged him most. If you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can so that we can move forward on solving this? This is urgent, Elon. Elon calls him by his name. Like, that's like... She's saying, I know you, you dork. You are a dork. You think you're cool right now, Elon. Okay, Elon, it's you and me. We have 3 kids. Stop with your stupid chainsaw and you're wearing sunglasses inside, you fucking weirdo. Okay, Elon. Like, that's what she's saying to him. I also like how she's like, well, if you don't want to be a father, right? Let's read this the way it really is. If you don't want to be a father to these children, then just pay somebody who acts like they'll care. Can we do that? That's basically what she said. She said that. She said, if you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can, so that we can move forward on solving this? Translation, if you don't love your kids, then just hire someone who will pretend to. Can we do that, Elon? It's embarrassing. This is like, because she's Grimes. Grimes, like, I don't know who she is. She's never sort of been a publicity hawk. She's, you know, she seems like she's probably very well taken care of. To the extent that she's comfortable calling him out here. Now, we don't know what kid it is. They got 3 kids together. We don't know that this is cute little X. X is the star. Oh, that kid. That's the kid from the Oval Office. We like X. X. We hope X is okay. Grimes writes, let's see, it's no longer acceptable, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait a second. Oh, she's a second text. Oh, all right. Here we go. A second text. Here we go. She says, I'm not giving any details, but he won't respond to text calls or emails and has skipped every meeting, and our child will suffer lifelong impairment if he doesn't respond ASAP. So I need him to fucking respond. And if I have to apply public pressure, then I guess that's where we're at. Ooh. She's explaining it. People are like, why are you airing your dirty laundry? She's like, look, I'm not giving any details about she didn't. We don't know which kid. They got 3. We don't know which one. And he's not responding. He won't respond to texts, calls, or emails and has skipped every meeting. All right, so he doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. Look, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I bet you Da Vinci was a bullshit dad as well. Leonardo da Vinci never went to one of his kids' ball games. I promise you that. That's terrible. Stop projecting your way of looking at the world onto Elon Musk, the globe's wealthiest individual, okay? His kid's going to be fine. Well, he's going to grow up without a father. How will he survive? I don't know. I grew up without a father, and I sure as shit didn't have a parent who was one of the wealthiest people on the planet. I survived. That kid will be fine. Besides, probably going to be better off not having Elon in his life. Imagine, I don't know. He's weird, man. He's too powerful, too influential, and too fucking weird. Those three things are never good. They're never good. All right. When pressed for details, Grimes said that she won't divulge it. Oh, who's this? Is this him? Yeah, look at him. There he is. Look at that. That's little X. We don't know X has any health problems because, again, Grimes wasn't specific about which of the three kids, but that's one of them. Look at him, his little camel hair coat. Oh, he's adorable. Let's see. Worth noting that Grimes and Musk had 3 children together. Oh, God. They've got a son, X. That's the one we know. The dude's name isn't X. The dude's name, that cute little kid that we call X, his name has letters in it that we don't use anymore. I don't know what the A and E combination letter is. He's got that. Like the first letter in his name looks like a punctuation mark. All right, so they got 3 kids. They got X, and then they got a daughter. Daughter's name is Exa Dark Sidrael. And again, they're using that AE letter. That's not a real letter. I don't know. You're going to have, I can't wait for you to go to get your first driver's license. You're going to have serious problems trying to get that fucking name on a driver's license. I'll tell you right now, that letter doesn't exist. The A with an E. It's like an A. It's like a small A and then a small E, and they're smashed together, and it's one letter, and I don't know what it is. Okay, so they got X, the little kid that we know from the Oval Office. They got a chick. They got a daughter named Exa Dark Sidrael. And then they got this son. How come we don't hear nothing about this kid? Fucking A, this name. All right, look, I want to be like, Elon's weird and all that. And I wouldn't name my kid this name. I might name my I might name my like big giant mastiff this. I don't know that I'm naming my son Techno Mechanicus. Yeah. So it's one of those 3. One of those 3 kids has some kind of urgent medical issue that Elon is ignoring, and Grimes has gone public on Twitter. One of the 3 kids, baby X from the Oval Office, maybe Exa Dark Sidrael, their daughter, or Techno Mechanicus. Techno Mechanicus Musk. Oh, fuck. Seriously, he's laying the groundwork for some very funny person shared something on Twitter. Again, I'm going to butcher the joke, but the joke was essentially, I can't wait for the Game of Thrones-like storyline that will unfold between Elon Musk's many children over who is the king of Mars. That was funny because it'll be like a crazy, like Musk got like 13 kids and they're all going to be like, I am the king of Mars. No, like Elon Musk's great-great-grandson is going to be like, I am the first king of Mars. And then like he'll have other grandsons who are like, no, and there will be wars waged on Mars between the Musk kids. And I believe the one that will be victorious will be Technicus Mechanicus. That's a badass name. All right, there you go. That's the Elon Musk stories. Here, how about this? How about this stupid story? I can't believe this. This makes me mad. I mean, it shouldn't make me mad. It doesn't. All right, well, it does. Performatively, it makes me mad. It doesn't really make me mad, but it does bug me. So, the athletes. So, athletes are getting robbed. We've been talking about this story now for a couple of months. Professional athletes in all 4 major sports have been warned by their leagues to be on the lookout for, organized crime groups who are targeting professional athletes in their homes and their cars and their jewels and all of that good stuff. Well, we've got another one of these situations where the athletes have been robbed, except it's not These are college athletes. College athletes. They're now robbing college athletes. Why? Because college athletes are multimillionaires. Because college athletes now, because you get paid, and I'm not complaining. I always felt it's a bit unfair that, Nick Saban makes $20 million a year. Meanwhile, his 19-year-old superstar with a fractured hip ends up limping for the rest of his life. I never thought that was fair. But this is kind of nuts. So thieves down in Miami University, not the Dolphins. This is not, the headline was Miami quarterback robbed. And I'm like, oh, they got Tua? No. This is Carson Beck, University of Miami's quarterback. That's right. He got his $300,000 Lamborghini and his $150,000 Mercedes stolen. That's almost $500,000 in cars that this college kid has. He ain't going pro. Carson Beck sucks. Carson Beck isn't going to have a career in pro football. So he's going to make like $10 million as a 19-year-old. And then what? Open up a vape store in his hometown? What? I'm telling you. Good for them. What? Mazel, I say. I got no ill will. There's big money to be made, and it always seemed to me that the stars and the people with the actual talent should at least make a taste of the money that's being made. So they are. Thieves steal Miami quarterback Carson Beck's new Lamborghini and Mercedes, and his girlfriend got her Mercedes SUV stolen. His girlfriend is someone named Hannah Cavender, who is apparently a very popular and very talented women's basketball player at the University of Miami. So even she makes enough money where she can have like a fancy SUV. The Miami Hurricanes power couple of quarterback Carson Beck and his basketball star girlfriend and social media sensation. Oh, there you go. She's social media. She's doing OnlyFans. She one of those. What kind of social media sensation are you? OnlyFans kind? Yeah. Beck has two cars that were stolen, a Mercedes and a Lamborghini, while Cavender's SUV was stolen, but then later found. The exact location of the trio of thefts remain unclear, as a spokesperson for Miami-Dade Police says that the burglaries did not occur in the city of Miami. Beck and Cavender have been a couple since late last year when they were spotted together during 4th of July weekend. That's not late last year. That's the 4th of July. There's some fucking journalists, man. They're so stupid. They've been a couple since late last year. They met 4th of July. 4th of July is not late last year. 4th of July is last 4th of July. Beck played for Georgia's football team for 5 seasons before a lucrative transfer to Miami kept him in college football as one of the highest paid athletes under the NCAA banner. This scrub played 5 years of football over there at Georgia. And then I guess because they all get like a COVID year now, like this particular group of athletes, they'll be playing for like 7 years. I took my red shirt. I took my injury season. I took my COVID year. It's like you're 33 and you're starting for Alabama. Anyway. All right. So there you go. The band of organized criminals who are targeting athletes are not just staying focused on pro athletes. Miami athletes, Carson Beck and his girlfriend, they got robbed too. Jeff Bezos, let's talk about a rich guy, another rich guy. Jeff Bezos bought James Bond. So I don't know what this means, but apparently it's a big story. It's a story that I could have done yesterday. I mean, I saw it yesterday morning, and I'm like, oh, should we talk about this? And I'm like, I don't really like James Bond. I'm not really a James Bond guy. I'm being honest, James Bond seems kind of gay. I'm being honest. Just seems very seems like a pussy. He does. James Bond seems like a pussy. You know who doesn't seem like a pussy? Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan does not seem like a pussy. Jack Ryan would kick James Bond's ass in a fight. He would. You'd kick his ass. Unless it's Sean Connery. If it's Sean Connery, James Bond, that's different. He was badass. Then they went with all of these like pussy James Bonds. Let's see what else. Bourne what's his name? Malcolm Bourne, whatever. Jason Bourne, Bourne Identity. He'd kick James Bond's ass. He sure would. I've never been a James Bond fan. They always seem silly. The movies seemed low tech, silly. Remember back in the 70s and 80s on Sunday night, ABC would like put on a James Bond movie and it was like a big deal. James Bond Sunday night. And I was always like, unless it's Moonraker. Like Moonraker was the one James Bond movie that I saw and that I liked. So long story short, I don't really give a shit that Amazon and Bezos now owns James Bond. They bought it from the Broccoli family. I don't care. Whatever. What does this mean, though? Maybe you do care. Maybe the show should be a little bit more about what you think and less about what I think. James Bond shakeup. Amazon takes creative control of franchise from Broccoli family in new deal. Amazon Studio will take the reins for the 60-year-old movie property while Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli will remain co-owners as they move to the sidelines as part of a joint venture in this transaction. The James Bond movie franchise has gotten a shakeup with Amazon MGM Studios and Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli forming a new joint venture. Under the terms of the agreement, Amazon MGM Studios will gain creative control of the James Bond franchise, while Wilson and Broccoli will remain co-owners of the 60-year-old property. I don't know what that means. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to give us the new James Bond? Who is the James? It's Craig, right? Daniel Craig's cool. All right, he's a cool choice. He's not a pussy. He's like, when I think of James, like Roger Moore was my James Bond. Roger Moore was kind of a pussy. Roger Moore was like, I'm 15 years old watching Roger Moore in a James Bond movie, and I'm going, I bet I could take him. I bet I'm 15. I bet I got a puncher's chance. Never felt that way with never felt that way with Sean Connery. Felt that way with Pierce Brosnan. That's another pussy. Oh, that pretty boy. Kick him in the nuts, knee him in the face. It's over. I am not worried about Pierce Brosnan or Roger Moore. Who else? Who else did they make a Bond? Craig. I think Daniel Craig would kick my ass. I think that dude would kick my ass. He seems like he would kick my ass. But I've also seen him in like war movies where he played like an ass kicker, so at the end of the day, he's still an actor, so chances are I can kick his ass. Because trust me when I tell you, actors only act tough. Except for Chuck Norris. All right, I'll give you that one. Chuck Norris. Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen was actually tough. I don't care. I don't give a shit about James Bond. Anyway, it was a big news story, and it wouldn't go away, so I decided we'd talk about it today. Netflix is investing $1 billion in Mexico. They're going to build film studios down there, and they're going to make things down there in Mexico, and Netflix to the rescue. All right. I don't know if it's going to solve our border problem, or is this a completely just different thing? Good for them. Netflix. What else do we have here? I'm just running through news headlines now. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so this is, I like to do these, excuse me, like to do these little studies. I subscribe to this network that sends me new studies. So I always have like, oh, look at this latest study. So here's a study on the economy in all of the top 40 major metropolitan areas in America. And it's a study that most financially distressed cities. All right, we'll just call it that. There you go. That's an easy way to say it. So they created through this, formula, a formula to figure out, what cities, if you live in these cities, like, are you the most financially strapped? Like you can't afford nothing, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. So it was very interesting. And here you go. As Americans grapple with rising costs and economic uncertainty, a troubling pattern of financial distress has emerged across our nation's largest cities. And the new study reveals that millions of urban residents are struggling to keep up with their bills, with some cities seeing nearly 90% jumps in the number of people seeking payment relief from creditors. Who's got the worst? Southern cities are hit particularly hard with, are you ready? Here you go. I'm going to give you the top 5 most financially distressed cities. You want to listen up because this is good for us. Number 5 is Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina. And again, this is most bankruptcies, most people on aid, most people looking for, blah, blah, blah. Most financially distressed cities. Number 5 is Charlotte. Number 4, Dallas. Here we go, folks. Dallas is the number 4th most financially distressed city. Number 3, Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida. Number 2, Atlanta. And the number 1 most financially distressed city in America, brother from another mother, Houston. Houston is number 1 in the most financially distressed cities. Houston, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Dallas, and Charlotte are your top 5. So there you go. There you go. Sucks to live in those cities right now, apparently. What else do we have here? A couple of quick things I want to mention. It looks like ESPN and Major League Baseball are no longer going to be a thing. ESPN has confirmed that their TV partnership with Major League Baseball is over. It says, we are grateful for our long-standing relationship with Major League Baseball and proud of how ESPN's coverage super serves fans. In making this decision, we applied the same discipline and fiscal responsibility that has built ESPN. All right, ESPN decided can't make any money on baseball anymore, so baseball is gone. God, that is wild. Like ESPN, like for me as a baseball fan, ESPN was like, I mean, the only place you would see national games other than Saturdays on Fox. All right, there you go. Baseball going away. I'll tell you this, though. It ain't going to be replaced by hockey. Not after what I saw. Sloppy-ass hockey. All right, so baseball's going away from ESPN. By the way, it should be mentioned after the season. 2025, whatever this baseball season is, will be the last season that baseball will be on ESPN. Who knows where it'll be picked up? Probably TBS or something like that. Also, a little bit of baseball news. This is a fun one. The New York Yankees have announced today that they are going to be getting rid of their long-standing ban on facial hair. Yankee players were never allowed to have mustaches or sideburns longer than a certain thing. Although I don't think, I'm trying to remember, didn't they make an exception? Didn't the Yankees make an exception for facial hair? Wasn't Mattingly allowed? What am I remembering that wrong? I don't know. Anyway, it was always a very famous thing. The New York Yankees didn't allow you to have any sideburns or facial hair or anything like that. Goes back to like the early 1970s when the current, not the current, but the former owners of the Yankees, even before Steinbrenner, they were like, "Goddamn hippies! The New York Yankees, the hippies!" They wanted, Mickey Mantle buzz cuts on everybody. And then they started seeing players in the minors coming up with lamb chops and giant hippie mustaches. And they were like, nope, no more. It's not like it was a long-standing rule with the New York Yankees. It was just something that they never needed to worry about because facial hair between like 1910 and 1970 wasn't something that men did. It wasn't popular. It was, so anyway. It was popular before that, like during Civil War times when it was hard to get razors. But as soon as people started, understanding that razors were easy to mass produce, people started shaving. And beards went away for about 50 years until the hippies came back. And the hippies were like, I'm not shaving. And that's when the Yankees freaked out. And we're like, no, can't have it. Incidentally, yesterday we talked about Charlie Finley, the famous owner of the Oakland A's, who went in the other direction. He completely embraced the hippie and the long hair and all of that kind of stuff. And there you go. All right. So this came from the Yankees today. Here, I'll read it to you. I don't know if you can read it there. It says, statement from Yankees managing general partner Hal Steinbrenner regarding alteration of Yankees facial hair policy. It says, in recent weeks, I have spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees spanning several eras to elicit their perspectives on our longstanding, to elicit their perspectives on our longstanding facial hair and grooming policy, and I appreciate their earnest and varied feedback. These most recent conversations are an extension of an ongoing internal dialogue that dates back several years. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow our players and uniformed personnel to have well-groomed beards moving forward. It is the appropriate time to move beyond the familiar conformity of our former policy. All right, there you have it. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I guess they can have beards now. So hippie beards and all that. Very cool. Very cool. I don't know if we'll even notice. Hold on. Why is Mike Alstott trending? I see Mike Alstott trending. It's not his birthday, is it? No, I would have mentioned Mike Alstott's birthday. It's not former Tampa Bay Buccaneer great. Mike Alstott's birthday. Joliet, Illinois, Hilltopper. Oh man. I gotta do something about this chair. My ass falls asleep in this chair. All right, let's talk a little bit more sports news. News that absolutely crushed my 15-year-old son. Zach Martin, Dallas Cowboys legend, first ballot Hall of Famer. My God. Zach Martin, Dallas Cowboy. He's retiring. He is retiring at 10 years? 10 years, whatever, 10 years. I think it was 10 years. A couple of fascinating things about Zach Martin. Okay, first of all, we all know what he's been for the Dallas Cowboys offensive line all these years. He's a guy, forget about it. He's there. You got to worry about that. You plug and play on day one. You draft him high in the first round. You plugged him in. He was there the whole time. Let me tell you something about Zach Martin. Zach Martin was chosen 3 picks. Zach Martin may be the finest player at his position on the offensive line in the league from this era. Very well may be. 3 picks before him in the very same draft, Aaron Donald was chosen, who is also now retired, who is also probably the best player on that side of the line, on the other side of the line, right? Zach Martin, Aaron Donald, both of them are gone. 2 of them first ballot Hall of Famers. Incredible. Let me tell you the most. Well, I'll tell you this. I go all the way back with Zach Martin because, of course, he played for my Irish. Oh, he was the anchor on that line. Oh, my God, Zach Martin. Another great Notre Dame Fighting Irish offensive lineman. So enough about that. Listen to this stat. I don't even know that this is true. How can this be true? I don't believe anything I see online anymore, but I tried to do a little research on this to see if this is true. I don't know how this can be true. People say whatever the fuck they want online, and and then you're like, well, that's true because I want it to be true, so I'm going to share it. How is this true? Zach Martin of the Dallas Cowboys has 7 career holding penalties. 7. Zach Martin has been flagged for holding only 7 times in his entire career. And oh, by the way, he's been to 9 Pro Bowls. He's been to more Pro Bowls than he has holding penalties. You guys, how can that be true? How the fuck? I don't know if that's true or not. I might sound like an asshole now because Pugs, there's no way that's true. Because I'm like, yeah, I didn't think there's any way that could be true. It might be true. I don't know. You guys look it up. Holy shit. Anyway, the great Zach Martin. Well, my son is very upset. My son is very angry at the Cowboys. They squandered his career. This guy's another one of these greats. One of the all-timers at his position. He's another one of these guys who's going to ride off into the sunset without any sparkly jewelry. All because he stayed and played his entire career believing that Jerry Jones was really going to get it right. Zach Martin 4 years ago should have started ring shopping. He should have been like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. I deserve to crack some champagne in a locker room, and that ain't going to happen here. That's too bad. Let's see here. All right, so there you go. That's the Zach Martin story. Okay. So we're going to leave you with this as we head into the weekend. Guys, I know that I'm probably a terrible human being. I know. Hold on, wait. I gotta see. It's gotta be a good video of this. Yeah, here it is. All right. I know I'm probably a terrible human being. But I have recently discovered something that I can't stop watching. It's I'm not proud that I can't stop watching it. Hold on, I need to stop this. Fuck. Hold on. Oh, I hate these tabloid stories. They all have pop-ups that have sound, and I can't find the mute to mute the sound on this pop-up. And boy, guys, here's what I'm not proud of. I've in recent weeks become a huge fan of Romanian MMA. You guys familiar with the very specific sport of Romanian MMA? And when I say specific, I mean completely non-specific. It's just totally random and anything. I saw a guy fight a bear with a chainsaw. Romanian MMA. It's incredible. Well, some went viral yesterday. I'm going to show you an example. You think I'm crazy. You're like, oh, how much? No, Romanian MMA have been putting out crazy viral videos for months now. And I've been watching all the different kinds of fights that they do. I'm a terrible person, but I enjoyed this. Okay, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. Again, I'm not proud of it. I do feel shame. So, an MMA company in Romania has caused controversy by staging an event. Are you ready for this? That saw 2 male professional MMA fighters go up against a team of 3 Instagram models. It's terrible. It is terrible that I'm like, I'm interested in that. Like 3 internet sex models. Like 2 of them were OnlyFans models. They're porn stars. They're like 3 porn star chicks. This is Romania. Like 3 porn star Instagram hot chick models. 3 of them. And then 2 real MMA fighters. 2 dudes that are real MMA. And that's it, bro. Ring the bell, close the cage. Let's see what happens. Now, I know you're saying, Pugs, that is horrible. No, it's not. None of these, I don't know, unless it turns out these women are being sex trafficked. I'm pretty sure that they were all well paid and knew exactly what the fuck was going to happen. Again, this is, if they're not being sex trafficked, because I guess it's Romania, they very well might be. They might be like a team Andrew Tate or something. I don't know. But if this is all on their own accord, if a girl wants to get into an MMA fight with a guy and then there's refs and it's controlled, this is very different than a guy and a girl throwing hands in a parking lot after a bar closes. This is different. This is dare I say, regulated? I mean, to some degree, it's Romania. And you're probably wondering, Pugs, you got to have video of this, right? You're damn right I do. We're going to watch some video. This is what it looked like. Shut up. You're all going to watch it. Not a single one of you, Adam's like, this is repulsive. You're going to watch. You're not going to close your eyes when I play this. Hell, you've probably already seen it. All right, here you go. All right, so those are the 3 chicks. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, Pugs probably staged. I'm sure these MMA fighters took it easy on these girls. Nope. No, they did not. Here we go. Romanian MMA. 3 Instagram models taking on 2 professional fighters. This dude just knocked her out. Just clocked her. Jeez. Are you watching what this guy right here is doing? This guy is beating the hell out of this girl. Jesus, watch. Oh my God.
Eu zic că e de apreciat inima
Oh
care...
God. He kicked her right in the baby maker. He just clacked. And look at her. She stopped. At this point, she's like, fuck. Let's watch that again. Look, this is no worse. These chicks have probably gotten into these fights on dance floors and clubs throughout Gdansk, right? I don't know where they live. Where is Gdansk? Is that in Romania? Maybe. Anyway, this chick just got kicked right in the ribs and she's like, I'm going home.
Eu zic că e de apreciat inima cu care...
God, it's a liver kick. He delivered a liver kick right to her side, and she quit instantly.
Pauza. Decizia
Yeah.
aparține colțului al...
She looks like Sybil. This one reminds me of Sybil. That's like a Sybil move. I could see, first of all, could totally see Sybil 15 years ago being down to do this, wanting to fight real guys. And then when it was over, I could totally see her
Pauza.
jumping in. Like,
Decizia
I'm gonna
aparține colțului albastru. Rechinu și...
There you go. Congratulations, boys. No surprise there. Romanian MMA never disappoints. It also never surprises. It's always pretty much how you think it's going to turn out is how it's going to turn out. The question with Romanian MMA is you wonder, it's like, why were they allowed to do this in the first place? Yes, I totally thought that the guy with the gun was going to be able to kill the 5 pit bulls. The guy with the gun, and I knew he was going to get chewed up, but I knew ultimately if he could just shoot the 3 pit bulls, he would win. The question isn't, who was going to win. There's no great drama there. The question is why? Because Romania! Because that's why, because Romania is the sports hub of our dystopian future. Thank you very much, Romania. All right. Barney says it's all fun and games until you get kicked in the liver. Yeah, she got a liver kick right there and her whole body shut down. And she was like, she'll be fine. She's going to be fine. It's not like anything it's going to, it's not even going to hurt tomorrow. It's going to fucking hurt like hell for the next 5 minutes, but then it'll be fine. It'll go away and you'll be like, yeah, I'm okay. She felt that. Oh, Jesus. It's so stupid. No, of course it shouldn't be happening. Men should never raise their hands to women. In the civilized society, in the world that I would like to be a dues-paying member of, we don't let that happen. But that ain't Romania. And if they're going to let that shit happen over there, I'm going to look at it. You guys want to see something else? Want to see what else they're doing? You think I'm crazy? You think that's the only kind of shit they do in Romania? You want to see more Romanian MMA? Oh, yeah. Here you go. This comes from like 2 weeks ago. This was the last time they did a big event there. Here we go. All right, so we just watched 3 Instagram models get the shit kicked out of them by 2 professional. Those guys didn't look that great. 2 supposed professional MMA fighters. We watched 3 Instagram models. Here you go. Here's another. This is something else that they do there. This is just like 10 on 10. It's just like a whole bunch of dudes just fighting. This is an organized barroom brawl.
Se detiene y los supervivientes continúan. Gritando que esto no sí, en Badalona va a pasar. Los árbitros, un momento, están los árbitros. Que dé comienzo el Battle Royale.
¡No pueden pararlos ya!
Wait, here's what I love about this. At the bottom of the screen from time to time, you'll see that they'll show all of the pictures of the fighters. And as the fighters get eliminated, they get rid of their pictures. I like it.
Se tiene que detener.
Goliat está yendo a por todos.
Pero ¿qué es este? Se tiene que detener si hay un eliminado.
¡Eliminado!
Goliat, un men eliminado.
All right, like see how this guy is like darked out? So he's gone. This guy's gone.
Otro. Alex Kilev eliminando. Ahora sí.
Goliat está peleando. Choques individuales.
All right, let's see what's going on here. So over here, you got these 3 dudes are going to try and take on these 2. See, here's why this is. If you're a spectator, this is a fantastic sport because you are going to see betrayals left and right. At some point, these 3 see it as their job to get rid of these 2. But what happens when these 2 are gone? These 3 are going to turn on each other. And then what's it going to... See? Palace intrigue. This is good.
Pasa que era Iván Rullo como el gran duelo. Intenta eliminarlo. ¿Lo ha eliminado? Sí, no se acerca por ellos del tanque. Hay un... ¡Oh, qué intercambios! ¡Qué locura! Cuidado que lo pueden sacar. Todavía no. Fuera. Hay que tener cuidado con que se quede muy al borde porque lo echan.
Big Bavarian Jethro over here. Bavarian Jethro is just whipping some ass.
Qué bien ha esquivado. Y oye, ahora mismo hay una situación de bullying dentro de la jaula, dentro de este tatami.
These 3 guys, all right now, they've decided that this one guy's got to go. All right, so it's these three on this one guy. They're all going to beat the shit out of this one guy, but then they're going to have to turn on each other.
Intenta prenderse como puede y sale eliminado. Sabe que no ha tenido que
Yeah, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to be Big Bavarian Jethro. I knew it was going to be 2-on Big Bavarian. Let's see how he fares.
repartir tantos golpes y está rito contra Iván Rullo. Oh, entra contra él, intenta derribar.
¡Y lo tira!
No, está dentro, está dentro.
Ya están en 1 contra 1, ¿eh?
1 contra 1.
Va a intentar,
Alex
va a intentar hacer una
contra
llave.
Iván Rullo. Uf.
All right, at this point, I don't care. Bavarian Jethro got eliminated. No, I'm not interested. Anyway, Romanian MMA. I'm telling you. I'm not proud of it, but it is something that I'll watch. And I'll be like, oh, this is insane. All right, guys, thank you so much. You guys have a great weekend. Like I said, it's boys' weekend around this part, so we're gonna have some fun. I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know. It's gonna be cold. Breaking news. What do we got? We got some breaking news. What's going on here? Breaking news. Breaking news. Hold on. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass removes city's fire chief. Yeah, there you go. Breaking news. I don't know what that's. Probably because the whole city burned down. I don't know. All right, we'll see you on Monday, folks. Remember, if you can help support this kind of talk radio, it happens every day, Monday through Friday at noon. Drop a little something in the Venmo, the Cash App. The show does exist, and it has existed every day for 3 years on your tips and your gratuities. I love you all so much. Have a great weekend. See you back here on Monday at noon.